prevent ourselves from getting the disease. You're gonna catch the virus. It's becoming endemic. We're never gonna get it out of our society. But we have a preventative measure from getting the disease, which is COVID-19.
I'll let y'all know we hot too. Yeah, we got, COVID-19 is a vaccine preventable disease, and only a quack would say different. Only a quack, yo. Only a quack, only a quack.
Which is COVID-19.
Oh my God, let me know. See if we get some people up in here, man. Wait, why you stop talking?
We went live. I was waiting for you to open the show up.
Nah, you know we always do the pre-talk to let people get in.
Yeah. So yeah, I was watching Science with Sean today. Y'all went live last night. I didn't catch the rest of the show because pretty much after you body bagged him with your opening and closing, it was a beautiful thing. He had no comeback. All we heard was his misunderstanding of the information. First, there were no clinical trials done. Then there were clinical trials done. I was kind of confused as to where he was going. But his whole objective and his whole mission was to prove to us that there was a herb that was going to trigger immune response. That was the whole format. So once he was unable to present his case, for me it was shut. So when I saw the whole Tahaka debate that came up after, I started to laugh because, again, we have, I think, too high a level of expectation from certain people in our community. We got to know where to draw the line. When we trying to entertain these high level discussions and trying to get technical, we can't have them with a Tahaka bait. Let's be honest. He's asking an invalid question and wants a yes or no answer. So he doesn't even have the intellectual capacity to allow Sean the room to correct his answer and answer him appropriately. His mind is too simple. He needs a yes or no. That's not a space where we're gonna have dialogue or discussion. When we go to debate and teach, fine. But we're not gonna entertain a back and forth with the haka because that defeats your whole beautiful presentation by the Master God Killer. Oh man, that was beautiful. Oh. Man, I learned a thing or two. I'm gonna start preparing my presentations like a pseudo killer. That was beautiful. I know this stuff off the top of my head, but that presentation was beautiful. There was nothing to come back off of that. It was done. it was done. So say in the chat, it was over. It was over. There was nothing he was gonna say that was gonna stick a fork in what you presented. And of course, he came straight out of the gate with the conspiracy theories and presenting information that boomerang daggered him. That means you lack the skills required to comprehend what you're reading.
Yeah, it's either he didn't comprehend what he was reading, or he just didn't read it at all. Because like I'm listening.
You in the Matrix, Ford?
Cracking up concrete,
breaking the concrete,
and I'm saying, my God, did he just
You want a level deeper?
Did he just pull those sources off?
Get out of there.
Concrete Corey in the Matrix. You cracking up?
You talking like you got the jab, bro.
I am so sorry.
I'm convinced, yo. I'm absolutely convinced that something's wrong with Vance. He was like, get out of there. You in the Matrix, son. Get out of there, concrete. Get out of there. You went deeper. Oh, come on, yo. Y'all funny, yo.
Yo, can y'all hear me now?
Yeah, you know, they joking you, yo. They say, get out of there.
I already know Vance was killing me already.
Vance ain't right, yo. That shit
Corey, my man,
I
though. That's my
couldn't believe the man brought those. Oh, no doubt.
Man,
no doubt.
he was crazy. He was crazy. Now, you telling me that you're going to talk about trials and you don't understand that before we get to human trials, that these things are tested in vitro, then in mice, then in bigger, larger animals like ferrets. Then we go to primate studies. There's a whole bunch of steps that are required before we start even experimenting on humans, the trials on humans. The experiments are done in the animal phase. At the point that we reach to the human trials, we are no longer experimenting. We're establishing dosage and we're determining effectiveness of the vaccines now in human. We're no longer experimenting. That happens in the animal phase. So when dude was talking, it was obvious, okay, he lacked basic understanding of what these words mean, what the principles are, and how they function. That was obvious. That was clear as day. He boomerang daggered himself so many times. I thought, why bring your own, like, why commit suicide in front of everybody? You could have done that privately, dude.
Man.
That was a mess.
Oh shit, man. In case y'all don't know, man.
Unc, you had him. He didn't know when to begin. His whole presentation was thrown off. Man, he was in school. He was sitting there listening to you as if he was in class. He wasn't able to take no notes. He couldn't prepare any counterpoints. His whole presentation was off. He focused on all his conspiracy theories. And up to now, I don't know which bush I'm going to go in my backyard and drink to give me an immune response to deal with COVID. I'm still waiting on that information.
We got 14 people watching.
It's hard. It's hard to do that with Tahaka though, man. Like it was frustrating. It was frustrating.
I caught the Tahaka stuff in the rewind.
Can y'all hear everybody?
Yeah, I can hear you on.
Yeah, Corey caught up.
Corey, turn your Wi-Fi off, Corey.
Corey in the Matrix for real. Corey, get out of there.
Yeah, he's stuck in level 2 right now, yo.
Get him out of here, Rock.
Somebody get him out of there.
Agent Smith's on your tail. Get out of there.
Hey, what's up with that? What's up with that Wujawu jab report, man?
He's still missing.
Like, how long is the goddamn appointment? It's been there 2 months.
I forgot.
Listen,
You know, I forgot to ask.
Wujawu read the last report. Wujawu read the last report. He knows that natural immunity has proven to be 13 times more effective than the jab. And that's what he's going to hit us with. He's going to tell us that he did his quantitative analysis and his IgG is robust and high. And the fact of the matter is he doesn't need to take the jab. He's going to become even more immune if he gets one jab. However, as he stands today, he is better protected than those with the vaccine. Now, that's taking the information and mixing it up. That's why I had to do a live on Facebook today, warning everybody, natural immunity brings with it the risk of death, of long COVID, of all the unnecessary side effects and risks that associated with becoming infected and thinking you're going to gain natural immunity. The vaccine is still the best option at preventing COVID-19, the disease. That's a fact.
Now, hey, Cedric, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Hey, so now help me understand this. Now, aren't you only immune to the variant that you came in contact with?
No. What the results? Yeah, I hear what you asked. So no, that is what we initially thought, but the research shows that once you've been infected, you have a wider range of immunity. Why? Because it is a fact that once infected with the complete virus, your T cell production recognizes more sites than just the spike protein, right? So you have a wider coverage range. Now, also in vaccinated people, your T cell have undifferentiated cells that also can attach to more sites on the virus. That's why the vaccines still afford a great number of people full protection against the variants. We realize that with the Alpha variant, and we realize that in a lesser extent because you got breakthrough cases, but still the vaccine is preventing infections. If we look at the hospitalization, if we look at the new cases, it's predominantly unvaccinated people still. So the vaccine is working to give a broader range of protection against variants. Again, there might come a variant that has 4 spike proteins, that has triple the bonding sites, and we're back to square one. That's why the RNA-based, mRNA-based technology allows for the evolution of the vaccine as the virus evolves. But what we're seeing now is that we're heading into an endemic situation. You're no longer hearing scientists talk about herd immunity. What we're talking about now is acquired immunity and the endemic nature of the virus. So, as predicted 2 years ago by me and other scientists, it is going to be the 5th wave. We're going to see this thing turn into a common cold. However, being unvaccinated means you're going to come into contact with this virus. So 2 things are going to be your scenario. You're going to either survive and become immune, or you're going to die. If you survive, you still run the very high risk of long COVID, long hauler syndrome, which is brain fog, which can end up with double lung transplant. You can end up becoming a dialysis patient. People have still, years later, have respiratory issues. Professional athletes needed to resign because of long COVID. So not taking the vaccine at this point, where we have it and we can prevent the disease, is putting yourself at an unnecessary risk. For public health reasons, we need to take into the account those that have acquired natural immunity, because they are pretty much at the same status now as a vaccinated person in terms of their ability to move and be part of society. So when we're looking at policies, we need to treat those with natural immunity equally to the vaccinated. But the message to the unvaccinated is that you're still faced with a serious risk. The choice is yours.
All right, with that, man, let's go ahead and get this thing cracking, man. We got a powerful show today, man. We're going to talk about the Nicki Minaj. We're going to talk about the misinformation that's actually being pushed towards our community. And you know, let's start off with some Smash Rockwells, man. Y'all know what it is, man.
I'm a work, I ain't going out lazy, bro. Thought he was conscious, but his homie just played me, bro. The house of consciousness is going out crazy, bro. They crazy, bro. Alright, it's getting kind of dirty in these YouTube streets. The Amin Ra squad, God, thinking you dudes weak. Islam or Judaism, where you learn what you dudes teach. The West African rappers slapping with that voodoo speech. All that sub-Saharan care about a cuckoo feet. I'm like Norma, the agricultural farmer that you weak for the storehouses. We feed the Hebrews and lead the people, and we defeat the feeble. They wanna know for life with me off, but Sinetta paid me my money though. That mean he 100. And I'm a worker, I ain't going out lazy, bro. Thought he was conscious, but the homie just played me, bro. The house of consciousness is going out crazy, bro. They crazy, bro. Nubian with the jewels, I rock the pinky. I think Jesus got to save me. A doctor save me, a doctor Inky. I cop the cop with jewels, I'm blue and red. I'm not the chopper doctor, y'all playing woke. But you in bed, you on Papa Chopper, you Grandmaster J. You just talking. Punks turn the other cheek and you will walk away. Y'all gon' have to pardon my boys. That's the Hawker Bay. I'm on that black African power on my darkest day. And that's my brother I'm stomping them other punks. We brought them gators to Italy, you loving the boys. And now I'm teaching from my shrine like brother Jabari. Scoping the savannah cause I'm on another safari. Tasha K showed us Frank record. Young Pharaoh just losing his mind and y'all can't help him. I know one thing, you're a fool if you're still out here donating to Umar school. That shit stupid. And I'm a worker, I ain't going out lazy, bro. Thought he was conscious, but the homie just played me, bro. The house of consciousness is going out crazy, bro. They crazy, bro. Look, you showing your hidden colors like Tariq Nasheed. A bunch of pseudo-information I don't think I need. Probably lying on the text, act divine as I ain't laughing. Just get that microphone ready. With better, I'm song jetty. A Ujabu, a Saw Imhotep. Y'all probably timid still on them Bobby Hemmett t-shirts. I'm in Gozy with the DNA. Cat's corny and it's killing me too. You talk that black shit, but you look Arab like Gorilla Hebrew. You need therapy, they telling me just chillin' be cool. I'm a magi archer, you a sad guy talking. And I'm a worker, I ain't going out lazy, bro. Thought he was conscious, but the homie just played me, bro. The house of consciousness is going out crazy, bro. They crazy, bro.
Huh. Hey, man, y'all know what it is, man. Black African power. What's good? What's happening? Well-organized lie defeats a disorganized truth every time. Woo-hoo-wee. Man, y'all already know what it is, man. It's the pseudo killers on deck. We come to do what we got to do, and we're going to do what we got to do. We standing tall. We standing strong. Pseudo killers on deck. Hey, what's good, Vance, man? Pseudo killer official, man. What it do?
Oh,
what
man.
it do?
What's good? What's good? What's good? Pseudo Killer on deck. Go subscribe, iTunes, Real Black Atheist Library, Pseudo Killers on deck. What's good, everybody on the panel?
Hey, man, we super good, man. I'm Sosa, man. Pseudo killer official, man. What it do? What it do? What it do? What's good?
Shit, what's good, family? You already know, man. Peace to everybody on the panel. Peace to everybody in the chat. Here to share what I know, learn what I don't know, man. Be home in a segment. I can post up. We'll get to it today.
Yeah, but you know, I always take the king out your name, yo.
Man. Don't change the fact that I'm king. No, you can't. You can't take that from me. What's understood don't gotta be said, huh? What's understood don't gotta be said.
Right. A whole new name. That's crazy, yo. Hey, Concrete Koi, man. What it do? What it do? What it do? Pseudo Killer Official, man. What's good?
Peace to the panel. Peace to everybody in the chat. Everybody out there watching. Like I said, subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the Mossy Clan Warriors. Subscribe to the Dagger Squad. Subscribe to Smash Rockwell. You know what I mean? We got the iTunes popping too. So subscribe to the Real Black Atheist Library on iTunes and all of that. But everybody already know a lie make it halfway around the world before the truth get out of bed and get his pants on. So let's get up and get it out there, y'all.
Yeah, y'all know what it is, man. Hey, man, we got the scientists on here, man. Hey, Cedric, man. Pseudo Killer Official, man. What it do? What it do? What it do?
Peace, 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 peace to the panel, peace to the chat. Like, subscribe, share. Scientific literacy is a vaccine against the frauds, the charlatans, the scammers, and the fakes in our community. This is where pseudos come to die at the hands of the God Killer and the crew. Let's get it.
Well, let's get it, man. Hey, boy, I see you, man. Pseudo Killer Official, Chef and L, man. What's good with you, man? What it do? What it do? What it do?
What's going on, everybody? Chilling. What we getting into tonight?
Man, we're going to talk about a little bit of Nicki Minaj, man. We're going to talk a little bit about that little conversation that I had the other day, man. We got a lot hot topics, man. You know what it is, man. It sounds like you got your Nick Cannon microphone with you. I don't know how you manage that in the car.
All my stuff up to date, yo. You just gotta keep everything up to date.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
Keep your phone, your car, everything up to date. You be good.
Yeah.
You know, technology move forward.
Yeah, technology move forward, man. It sure do, man. So let's get right into it, man. I want to play let me play this clip real quick, man. All right. So what I want to do is I think maybe we should start off with let's start off with the Nicki Minaj joint for a minute, man. So y'all know who Tricky Nicki is, man. All right, man. She's a star in the Black community. But what she's doing is, man, she's promoting misinformation, man. All right. And when you promote misinformation in the middle of a pandemic, that could be potentially threatening to the African American's life, man. We got to stop that. And we got to call that out, man. So Nicki, you know, she made this story up, some type of claim about how a person she know got the shot and supposedly they can no longer have children. Maybe I'm mixing it up, man. But let me play it real quick. All right, y'all listen up.
Trinidad investigated Nicki Minaj's COVID vaccine story and says it's a false claim. By Joe Walsh. Top line. Health officials in Trinidad and Tobago said Wednesday they've looked into rapper Nicki Minaj's unsubstantiated and widely criticized story about a COVID-19 vaccine rendering her Trinidad-based cousin's friend impotent, and determined it's a false claim. Key facts. Minaj said Monday she was skipping the Met Gala that evening because organizers required attendees to get vaccinated against COVID-19, insisting on Twitter her cousin's friend in Trinidad got a vaccine and became impotent and his testicles became swollen. Trinidad and Tobago's Ministry of Health spent the following day reviewing Minaj's report and determined there has been no such reported either side effect or adverse event in the small island nation so far. Health Minister Dr. Terence Dale Singh said in a Wednesday press briefing streamed by local broadcaster TTT. Dale Singh said Minaj's tweet certainly did not help Trinidad and Tobago's vaccination campaign, which has fully inoculated around 32% of the country's residents. People like her are social influencers, and they do carry some sway, he said. Crucial quote. One of the reasons we could not respond yesterday in real time to Ms. Minaj is that we have to check and make sure that what she was claiming was either true or false. And unfortunately, we wasted so much time yesterday running down this false claim, Dale Singh said. As we stand now, there is absolutely no reported such side effect or adverse event of testicular swelling in Trinidad or, I dare say, anywhere else in the world. Key background. Minaj was widely questioned for repeating a third-hand rumor about COVID-19 vaccine side effects and telling her millions of Twitter followers Monday, if I get vaccinated it won't for the Met. Unproven claims about COVID-19 vaccines causing reproductive issues have circulated online for months. even though the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says there's no evidence the vaccines cause fertility problems in men or women. Dr. Anthony Fauci, the federal government's top infectious disease expert, told CNN Tuesday that Minaj should be thinking twice about propagating information that really has no basis except a one-off anecdote. Further reading. Trinidad investigate.
All right, man. So, okay. Who want to speak to that first, man? You, Chef?
Man, look, that's crazy. I'm mad that they calling her Miss Minaj. Like, that sounds crazy all in itself, Miss Minaj. But a person like her, and this is my first time hearing this, so I'm shooting from the hip right now.
Mm-hmm.
How much plastic surgery do she have? So she's for all of this, you know, going under the knife, anesthesia, you know, just for her physical looks, right? So she have no problem with medical science when it comes to her being more sexually enticing, having a more sexually enticing look. But when it comes to her, you know what I mean, not infecting people or getting infected at large events that she go to, now she's against that. These people is out of their minds, and I hope she never sell another album.
I agree 100%.
So, where you at, man? You want to add something to that?
Yeah, I heard the story, man, but it's like, and I've noticed, like people who are anti-vax, they will create stories just to make their position feel better, feel stronger, right? So, in Taharka's chat, when they had talked about the vaccine, right, a girl in the chat typed, you know, I had a screenshot it too, because it was crazy. She said, yeah, my mother and my brother died last month from the vaccine. It's like, really? You see what I'm saying? Right? And the people in the chat like, I'm sorry to hear that, sis. I'm like, come on, like, that would be in the news.
My mother and my brother died last month from the vaccine, and you on YouTube right now.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Bananas.
come on. But
you would be in a goddamn insane asylum.
Yeah, man. Man, come on, man. But that's what I'm saying. Like, but they do stuff like that just to, you know what I mean? Just to make their position feel better, man. That shit is crazy, bro. It's crazy, man.
Where you at, Vance? Talk about
it. Man,
that's Vance's favorite rapper.
No, it ain't. No, it ain't. Just to hear the plight of our celebrities when they'll do, like Chef said, they'll get plastic surgery. They'll do all these things to enhance how they look. And the dangers be astronomical, like insane shit. And they go to a different country, and God knows where, and y'all's God, I don't know, I ain't got no God. And the shit would be so crazy that they'll damn near die. Kanye's mother died off this shit. And they'll turn their nose up to a fucking vaccine. Like, damn, you're not gonna go through none of that shit you just went through at all, not even remotely close. And y'all will risk your life on the aesthetic of your body rather than what the fuck is going on inside of it. It's crazy to me. Like, I don't understand it. So I it just blows my mind, because the more that you hear them talk, the more they reveal.
Concrete Corey, man. Give us some intelligent insight on that nonsense right there, man.
It really ain't no intelligent insight to be put in, but it was funny. It cracked me up that the narrator or whatever, whoever, the lady that was talking on that skit you played or the clip you played, she clearly said that there has been she dare say there's no reports of swollen testicles in the world. Is that crazy, man? That was funny. That was hilarious. Ain't nobody in the whole world reporting swollen balls. But Nicki.
Oh, yo, but from the black community.
That might be a personal thing. She, her guy, or whoever this person is, may need to go get checked out for something else. It ain't got nothing to do with a vaccine or COVID. I don't know, man. But
right,
it's just crazy.
It's crazy.
Cedric, come on, man. Add your scientific expertise to this, man. You muted out. I had to mute you out, yo, because you was doing something. Let me see. Once you mute, I can't unmute him.
I'm unmuted. Okay. I'm going to read from the conversation. It's an article, and it's written by Ramesses from the University of Miami. COVID-19 could cause male infertility and sexual dysfunction, but vaccines do not. So now, gentlemen, all you in the chat, you catch COVID, your dick's not gonna stand up. So now, do you need any more reasons to get the vaccine? Contrary to myth circulated on social media, COVID-19 vaccines do not cause erectile dysfunction and male infertility. What is true, SARS-CoV-2, the virus that causes COVID-19, poses a risk of both disorders. Until now, little research has been done on how the virus or the vaccines affect the male reproductive system. But recent investigation by physicians and researchers here at the University of Miami have shed new light on these questions. The team, which includes me, has discovered potentially far-reaching implications of men of all ages, including younger and middle-aged men who want to have children. What the team found: I am the director of the reproductive urology program at the University of Miami, Miller School of Medicine. My colleagues and I have analyzed the autopsy tissue of testicles of 6 men who died from COVID-19 infection. The results: COVID-19 virus appears in the tissue of 1 of these men. Decreased number of sperm appears in 3. Another patient, this one survived COVID-19, had a testis biopsy some 3 months after his initial COVID-19 infection cleared up. The biopsy showed coronavirus was still in his testicles. I'm not going to read it any further, but to all men out there, my young bucks who need to make those babies, now you have a valid reason to get this shot. The actual virus is giving you erectile dysfunction. The actual virus is limiting your ability to reproduce. How about that? How about that?
I put that article in the chat for y'all, man. Share that with the young men in your community that's promoting that anti-vax nonsense. That COVID is the culprit to lowering the birth rate in the African-American community. Based off of, that's crazy right there. So there you go, man. That's some signs for you right there, man, that you learn about the vaccine. There's no evidence of the vaccine doing that. Nicki Minaj is spreading misinformation. Instead of being adult in her affairs and being committed, being committed to the Black community, all right, and just giving them the truth. If you don't have the truth, then why just make up something? That kind of shows the mentality that she has. She don't care about you at all. She just care about her bread, which is cool, right? But why hurt people with that? Right? It didn't take long. She got that kind of money where she can fly to Baltimore, go to the largest hospital in the world, Johns Hopkins, right? And sit down and talk to a virologist or an immunologist and ask them about the vaccines and the vaccine safety. She could have did that, but she chose, right, on Twitter with over 1 million followers, right, to put that misinformation in there. So she's explicit with Europeans that are purposely targeting Black people with this misinformation. And I say purposefully, on purpose, right? So it's not so much when you're having a conversation with a person that's anti-vax, right? And they're going against the vaccines. And then you bring up the point, well, wait a minute. You're claiming not to trust the government. You're claiming not to trust white people yet, but yet you're going to trust white people that are on purpose targeting you. Okay? So the next thing I'm going to play from NPR is talking about they made a movie, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., they put together a movie, okay? They had some experts in it, but what they did was they tricked the experts. The experts didn't even know that they was in an anti-vax movie. So the question is, people are so much against the vaccines, but yet you can't see when people make crazy movies that target you to the point where they have to trick experts. If the information they had was real and legitimate, why would you have to trick experts to be in it? That is the question, not whether the information is valid in the movie, because that's second, we'll get to that, right? But the fact that they would have to lie and trick other people with that. So you know when people got money and they putting together movies, okay, and they call you up, yeah, we got a crew, want you to yada, 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 and you sign off on it, they come to the house, you can see the money. You can see the professional, you can understand what a professional camera crew is as opposed to somebody coming with an iPhone. You can see the difference. So right there, you're thinking, hey, this must be legitimate. But no, right? They're actually targeting Black people. So let me go into that next. Let's keep this moving. But I find it very, very interesting, man, how they doing us. They're tapping into our ability to want to believe. They tapping in. This is an 8-minute right here. Let me play. Let's get on this.
Support for NPR and the following message come from SAP. Tap the play button below to hear a conversation between General Manager Val Blatt and customer Tasha Anglin, who discuss how having real-time data on travel expenses helps Bayless Medical plan for the future. Although more than half of American adults have gotten the COVID-19 vaccine, demand is falling fast. Polls show about 1/3 of adults still want to wait and see, or they've outright decided not to get the shot. When asked why, many say the vaccine is unsafe, and they base that on false conspiracy theories. So today we're going to look closely at an anti-vaccine movie, and we're going to do that with reporter Will Stone. Together, we're going to peer under the hood, try to see exactly how this piece of misinformation is put together and what it seems like it's trying to accomplish. Hey there, Will. Glad to be here. Hi. Hi. Okay, so you have been investigating this movie. It is circulating online. It is circulating for free. What is it and where did it come from?
It's called Medical Racism, the New Apartheid. And from that title, you wouldn't guess it's about vaccines at all. That's the first misleading thing about this movie. It's produced by a group called Children's Health Defense. And the founder of that is Robert F. Kennedy Jr. He is the son of the former U.S. Attorney General Bobby Kennedy and the nephew of President John F. Kennedy. And RFK Jr. is actually a lawyer who has done work on environmental issues, but is now considered a major figure in the anti-vaccine movement. And there's research showing that his group back before the pandemic helped fund the majority of anti-vaccine ads on Facebook. And as NPR recently reported, he's part of what researchers call the Disinformation Dozen. Those are 12 people researchers say are responsible for 65% of the shares of anti-vaccine misinformation on social media platforms.
Well, including this film. And I know you have been reporting, you've been talking to some of the folks who got caught up in this film. Let's listen to what you found, and then I want to ask you a couple questions.
Yale professor Naomi Rogers assumed she'd end up in a straightforward documentary. Rogers is a well-known medical historian. A filmmaker had approached her in the fall about an interview. The focus wasn't entirely clear. To her, it seemed to be about the pandemic, the legacy of racism in medicine, and how history plays into current mistrust among Black Americans. Here's Rogers.
I was naive, certainly, in assuming that this was actually a documentary, which I would say it is not.
She says the director mentioned vaccines, but that didn't really stand out to her.
In no way did I read it as anti-vaccine, but I didn't even read it necessarily just about vaccines.
A camera crew came to Rogers' home, and she was impressed.
there was definitely money there.
It was a wide-ranging interview. One major topic was Dr. James Marion Sims. He was an influential figure in gynecology in the 1800s, but he performed painful experimental surgeries on enslaved Black women without anesthesia.
We were talking about issues of racism and experimentation, and I am very passionate about that as a topic. I think it's really important.
At one point, Rogers asked the crew members, who else were they interviewing?
They said, well, there's a guy in New York, and we talked to somebody in New Jersey and California, and I thought, it's so odd that they wouldn't tell me who these people were.
It wasn't until months later, in March, that Rogers would find her answer. She received an email from a group she'd never heard of called Children's Health Defense.
It was then that I discovered that they had this movie I was in.
The movie was done, and it was online. It's about an hour long, and Professor Rogers only appears for about 14 seconds. She's talking about Sims, and her quotes were accurate.
It's just that it was placed in part of an argument that I have enormous problems with, that the anti-vax movement needs to have a very strong relationship to civil rights activists, because it's all about exploiting Black children and other children of color.
This appears to be a strategic distortion of the film. It draws a line from the very real history of racism and atrocities in medicine, like the Tuskegee syphilis study, to interviews with anti-vaccine activists who traffic in familiar claims, like the thoroughly disproven link between autism and vaccines. In one example, the film relies on misinterpreted CDC data to make a connection between vaccinating Black children and autism risk. The end result is a false equivalence that vaccines today are another example of historical harm against Black people. This takes place against the backdrop of COVID-19.
I don't really think the vaccine is necessary.
There are clips of people of color whose names aren't given.
I don't know if it's all a propaganda.
And Robert F. Kennedy Jr. shows up to warn viewers not to trust their doctors or Anthony Fauci when it comes to vaccines. The storyline disturbed someone else who ended up in the movie, Dr. Oliver Brooks.
I do believe that there can be danger in a documentary such as this. The crux of the documentaries generally don't get vaccinated.
When the filmmakers asked him to do an interview, Brooks was the president of the National Medical Association, which represents African-American doctors across the U.S.
There is an understandable concern in the African-American community regarding vaccines. However, in the end, my position is you look past those, have an understanding of those, and still get vaccinated. That nuance was not felt or presented in the documentary.
Brooks says he agreed to be in the film because he wanted to provide some balance. But now he wonders, did his appearance give more oxygen and credibility to a piece of misinformation?
That's Will Stone reporting there, and Will is still with us. I'm curious, I'm sure you asked the filmmakers to respond to what doctors are saying, like Dr. Brooks there, saying that this is a dangerous film. What do they say?
Yes, we did reach out to Children's Health Defense. A spokesperson there says they reject that this is misinformation. She says the movie was thoroughly fact-checked. I did also speak to one of the film's producers. He's a longtime anti-vaccine activist. He points out the film never explicitly tells people to say no to the COVID vaccine, just to do their research.
Well, let's step back. What does this tell us about the anti-vaccine movement today at this moment, where officials in the U.S. are trying to encourage more people to get the COVID vaccine, not fewer?
Yeah, first, it shows they have money to churn out well-produced content like this. Second, that the anti-vaccine movement is now clearly targeting the Black community, and that they're doing this by tapping into big, important conversations we're having as a country about social justice and health disparities. And those who study misinformation say, ideally, this type of movie doesn't find a major platform on the internet and social media at all, but that's generally not realistic. So they say the next best thing is to, and I'm going to use a vaccine metaphor here, to essentially inoculate people against it. You tell them who these anti-vaccine groups are, what they're saying, how they will say it, and why it's not true.
Okay, and I want to end by noting a fact, a piece of fact-checked information, which is that more than 300 million doses of COVID-19 vaccine have now been administered in the U.S., and daily cases of COVID have dropped to what is now their lowest point since last March of 2020. That's according to the CDC. NPR reporter Will Stone sharing his investigation there of an anti-vaccine movie. Will, thanks so much.
Okay, so where you at, Nahisi, man? Pseudo killer official, man. What it do, Nahisi? You here? Since you was the one that actually sent me that source, I want you to kind of speak on that, man. There you go. Go ahead, though, Nahisi.
Hey, all right. Peace to the panel,
What's up, Nahisi?
Yeah. Hey, what's going on?
Peace,
Yeah, I set that out because dealing with Harriet Washington and stuff like that, who is the author of the book Medical Apartheid. I put that out there because I think it was very important, because we should see that that we as a community are being targeted not to take the vaccine, but other communities put that out there.
Go ahead. Your thing paused out. What you say?
Yeah, repeat that last statement.
Oh, I paused out. I was saying that that's the reason I put it out there, because it's like we being targeted in our community not to take the vaccine, but other communities, they are actually taking the vaccine. So it's like it's an agenda going on. So that's why I put it out there, to make people aware of it. Because as much as we say, like, you have all the Black Power groups that say that the white man the devil, but you're getting all your information from these people.
God's the worst. Yeah, that's the worst, man. Let me read this part right here. It says the crux of the documentary is generally don't get vaccinated. Brooks told NPR in a recent interview. It says there is an understandable concern in the African American community regarding vaccines. However, in the end, my position is you look past those, have an understanding of those, and still get vaccinated. That nuance was not felt or presented in the documentary. Man, so Chef, you want to speak on that? Did you hear it? Because I know you kind of went back out. Did you kind of hear that?
Oh, no, I heard it. That was crazy.
On that, man.
I mean, I'm glad Nahisi sent that. I think that's gonna help me personally with people in my personal life that I've been having a hard time getting them to see the importance of taking this vaccine. So if we all do that, right? Because we all figured that was the case. Like, somebody is promoting this misinformation to poor communities.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I mean? So this, who's doing this? So I'm not saying that this is the only case of it, but it's a clear case that, somebody might be pushing us in a direction. It's just like with elections. You notice how in certain communities, certain messages always reach certain communities because people, certain candidates, they pay, right, for certain messages to get promoted in certain communities. So that's why we always heavily get bombarded with Democratic propaganda and advertisements in our community because, they feel like got a home with us. So the Republicans for years have been, younger Republicans have been arguing they don't do enough promoting in the Black community, right? They don't get their message out to the Black community. It's like, y'all don't even care. Like, so, it's basically showing that, people can put money into falsely advertising or properly advertising to certain communities. And they're definitely paying attention to us when it comes to this pandemic, because somebody is definitely help promoting this misinformation in the Black community when it when it comes to these vaccines. But so I'm glad that he put that out there. That's gonna be monumental. I think this gonna help us right here, y'all. Yeah, I mean, if we put this out the right way, right, and constantly keep showing our people that we're being manipulated, right, then I think this gonna be a good one. Good job, Nahisi.
Yeah, that we need to do that. Sosa, you want to speak on that?
Nah, y'all go ahead and get it in, man. I'm fixing some food.
Malcolm on the yeah, he definitely got some pork chops.
You got some pork chops. I can hear it.
Hey, I eat pork chops though. I ain't even tripping on that, so you ain't saying nothing wrong.
Malcolm X looking down on you right now. but Malcolm on the panel. What's up, Malcolm?
What's up, y'all? I'm laughing at y'all mess with Sosa and his pork chop. Man, it's been a minute since I've been on the panel, man. I've been listening in every chance I can get. So although I hadn't been on the show for some time, I definitely been listening in, man. I love the topics, love the energy. Man, you got him with this one, bro. Yeah. Got him. And look, I know I'm on record multiple times on recordings, on Facebook posts. It's documented. Multiple times I've been on record saying the conspiracy for our people was going to be that there were other people who were going to ensure that we didn't have adequate access to valuable information that would save our lives. I am on camera saying this shit, and I knew it. And this video proves it. And I think I heard this earlier this week because I listened to a lot of NPR. If I'm not mistaken, this is addressing a lady that kind of got blindsided by the documentary being produced about anti-vaccines when she's actually not anti-vaccine. Yeah. Is that correct?
Yes, correct.
Got their ass. Got him. I love it. Let's get that boy up out of here, man.
Let's get him up out of here. Get him up out of here. Yeah, where you at, Corey?
Yeah. The whole thing is that's what we've been pushing the whole time, though, man. We've been saying that the whole time, like these people these anti-vaxxers is pushing white information, and it's just plain. That just made it plain and simple right there, But I mean, like, I don't think that's gonna change nobody's mind because, like I said, we've been saying that the whole time. Like that ain't gonna prove nothing to.
We got proof now, though.
But it's been proved. We've been told them about Bobby Kennedy, the Kennedy dude or whatever his name is. You know what I mean? We've been told them about all that. I mean, Unc had the debate with what's his name?
With his people.
Curtis without a cause and the rest of them. You know what I mean? Like they going for it, man. I just think like all of the things that we do to try to mitigate the disinformation, it just only it seems like it only adds to it. Like when I got discouraged when did the debate with over there at Taharka, like reading the chat and after everything Unc presented, like the kind of response that Taharka gave when he said that Unc won the debate, he had the better presentation or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But I could say Pastor Bennett won a debate against somebody, though I disagree with everything Pastor Bennett said. So that's not saying much to me. You know what I'm saying? But
Parker was disgusting last night.
It was just it was discouraging. Like the chat, the whole thing that all of the rhetoric that my man was spitting. His name was Rodney. Like that was from like 2 years ago. Like, you know what I'm saying? He ain't even like they still going for misinformation that's 2 years old that they ain't even really going for no more. You know what I'm saying? Like they done updated the misinformation, you know. And the black community is still with old misinformation. It's so discouraging to me, man. It ain't even funny. But go ahead, man. Y'all can add on or whatever.
I agree with Corey on that. When you read the chat, it is discouraging, especially coming from that platform over there. But you have to realize, I went in there with college material, and that's why you have to take a test to get into college before you can reach that level. And they still on a junior high level of understanding. So that's their problem over there. They need to up their game.
That's my segue into this whole conversation, because that's the point I was going to try to make. This information in the white community is predominantly active, but with the Bible Belt and high school or lower education. So these are the people that are susceptible to this information. It comes from a redneck. A lot of these people are predominantly racist. Let's be honest. Now, if you look at in the black community, what they're doing is they're weaponizing this information to get supporters, and it has a detrimental effect on the black community. But they're targeting levels of education, the same mistrust from the government, although on different spectrums. They're using the same parameters to put this information in the black community. And what your point about last night became obvious is that the deficiency in education. That's why I made my point earlier before we went live. Ankh being there, putting the information down, a presentation out of this world, a college level presentation. There was, after the debate, we had to get the hell out of there. There was no room to entertain any kind of dialogue on this level with Tahaka Bey. I love the man, he's entertaining. However, when it's time to get down to science, his mind is so simple that he wants a yes or no answer to a question that is incorrectly asked. So when Sean attempts to now explain it, it is already too much for his brain to handle. The presentation of Ankh literally fried these guys' brain. So there was no room for discussion after this. This is beyond or above their level of understanding. That's why I always come back to what Chef said. You're not gonna make up the deficiency. You just have to accept the information. You do not have what it takes to question what is being explained. You just don't. So why entertain it? Why try it? That's like me questioning an airline mechanic if he knows what he's doing while I'm watching planes fly in the air. How?
You won't be able to discern whether he's doing the right thing or not.
I don't know. I'm gonna be a fool questioning this man. He's gonna tell me, look, we're gonna put the PCI here. We're gonna press these two buttons. You're gonna see the exterior, and he starts to explain, and I'm lost. And now I'm telling him I don't think that's right. You're wrong. Like, how does this make sense though? And this is what we're seeing every time. We come at this from an intellectual, scholarly, scientific basis. We're not in the room or the arena to have anecdotal conversations full of claims. When we lay the law down, the discussion is over. There was no debate. Ankh was teaching. So after teaching, the Tahaka needs to go to bed, wake up, watch this presentation 3 times, get a dictionary and a tutorial, understand what Ankh is explaining, and now come with an intellectual question that is based in a structure or in a format which allows for it to be answered. Wanting a yes or no answer to a question that is wrong already illustrates your inability to process the information at this level. That was done. After Ankh's presentation, I was literally done. That was it.
Yeah, I will say for sure, right? But I think my educational level is probably the same as the people in Tahaka chat. Their problem is they don't know how to have a good bluff game, right? They're a bluff game. Like, I could be in the room and be the stupidest person in the room, but I ain't gonna open my mouth and show that shit. You think what I'm saying? Listen.
But you're aware of your limitation. That
Exactly.
illustrates your intelligence, though. So I would never judge someone based on them having finished a level of education. I look up to Sean, regardless of did he finish college, was he in my biochemistry class or not. I look up to him based on his ability to present the information,
Definitely
his
a good presenter of the
methodology.
information, right?
Yes, his methodology, his analysis. That is what I'm looking at, level of intellect. So I'm not gonna judge you saying, okay, you only finish high school, so we ain't having this conversation. That's some bullshit. But when it's obvious that you only finish high school, then then we don't need to have this conversation. When your intellect or your ability to understand doesn't allow you to expand beyond the obvious, then what else am I supposed to do? You didn't pass the test. If you take the test, you're gonna pass the test and we can have this conversation. But like Naisi said, there was a test required to get into college, and these dudes simply wouldn't pass the test.
Dang.
They just wouldn't pass the test. Pointless. Like Sean was trying to explain him, dude, your premise of vaccine is completely wrong. Vaccine prevents infection. So why would we're not talking about a cure. Vaccine prevents you from getting the disease COVID-19. You can get infected with the virus SARS-CoV-2, but the vaccine prevents you from getting the disease, COVID-19. So there is no need to talk about if the vaccine can cure COVID or not. Like that's a irrelevant, redundant question.
We're gonna show that clip, man. Did everybody speak on that real quick? Did everybody get a turn to speak on that?
Yeah.
Everybody spoke on it?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, we're gonna play that clip. Let's play this next one real fast. All right, and talk about that. Hold on, real quick. Then we're gonna get into. Let me show y'all this picture right here, though. I need to get somebody to make a new flyer because they fucked the names up on here. But this is what was really going down. Look, let me show y'all something. Y'all see it? Y'all see this? So this was the Great Harlem debate. All right. For some stupid reason, they just mixed everybody in. All right. Here go your top anti-vax on the left, Del Bigtree. All right. He the number one anti-vaxxer, okay, in the United States and probably in the world. All right, so this is who we was going up against right here. Then you got the scientist right there. Let me find his name. His name would be, oh man, I think it's Veterinary. I think that's what it is. No. James Lowens. Look him up. Right there, next to Doc, and then you know Dr. Mayat, and that's the sister name. She probably beat up from COVID right about now after all that shit she talked, right? And you got Palowski right here, right beside me. That's another anti-vaxxer, super anti-vaxxer. So I was going against a super crew, and then in the middle, Curtis without a goddamn cause. All right, so this is what we did. Then of course they made a whole new. My name ain't never been Uncle Hotep. The shit was like they was funny. Like what the fuck is going on, Uncle Hotep?
I like that. I like that.
Yo, they killed you on a
I like that shit. Whoa, they were taking shots from the flyer.
Yeah, it's just some joke shit right there. But I'm gonna get the flyer remade again. You know, don't put me in history as Uncle Hotep.
How y'all gonna let a debate or this with a vax or the anti-vax with an anti-vax as a moderator?
The timekeeper. Hold on, the timekeeper was anti. It was all set like that, yo. They put it like sometimes, yo, you go into battle, yo, and the shit is against you, yo. And it's just been that way with me.
Until today, science is still undefeated. Unschool those chumps like chumps they were. Woo!
Hotep, yo.
Look at the flyer over. Here you go. I'm gonna bring James Smalls on here. So they have Professor James Smalls on here. All right. They had Lennon Jefferson. Right? No, James Smalls. No, James Smalls is not. We're gonna bring him on here.
He got that jab yet?
Of course he did, yo. And he apologized because he gave real legitimate elder though. Right? So he apologized for his misstep because he spoke, right? And that's what I expect out of an elder. I don't expect you to get everything right, but I expect you to evaluate what you said, okay, what you did, look at where we at, pay attention, and then make a sound decision. That's exactly what he did.
Why they don't promote it though, man?
Nah, he didn't promote. He was actually there. He was at the. I'm gonna let him tell.
So I'm saying like why they don't get behind stuff like this? Why they don't put? It's like, yo, if you know if that vaccines was good for you and your family, why not promote that? Because you got so much sway in the community. The people will listen to you. They would listen to you, Professor Smalls.
Not if he come out in support of that vax. They know that.
Nah, boy, he see the blows we take, and
come
his old
on,
age,
y'all.
he don't
Yo, we
want
got
that
to
fight.
stop. Well, he got to step up, yo.
They know if they take that position, all the pro-black organizations gonna turn their nose up at you. Like, what name a pro-black organization that's pro-vax?
Then they not real, then, yo.
Killer.
They not real.
We gotta bring him into this environment where he's safe and where he can speak.
Can anybody name a pro-black? Can anybody name a pro-black organization that's pro-vax?
We shouldn't have to twist our elders' arms to tell us the right thing to do, yo. We shouldn't have to twist their arms. They shouldn't be bribed into. Man, that's crazy.
Chef, I hear your point, but on the other hand, I'm understanding what Sosa's saying. At his age, he doesn't want to have the
He's not an elder then. He's not an elder. So we just gonna have to keep it real, yo. Like, yo, we talking about the lives of people. You know what I mean? Like, so I can't even. I feel
well, he's gonna
crazy.
come on our show.
Hold on,
he's
Cedric.
gonna come on our show, though.
Hold on, Cedric. I feel crazy to even have to say this, yo. I feel crazy to, like, I'm putting myself out there because ain't nobody gonna say nothing against him. So it's like, yo, do I be a coon and sit back and not say nothing just because of who he is and scared people going, like, yo, if the vaccine is the best thing for our community or for the world, why wouldn't the elder in our community speak up? That makes no, like, where's the integrity? Y'all saying because a pro-black group would disown him or who are they? Did they put in more work?
I ain't saying it's right. I just peek the politics.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. I understand the politics.
I don't have no elders then. I don't.
But
I don't have no elders.
But
they y'all elders then.
Ankh made it clear that he corrected his position, and he did that publicly. And he is not an anti-vaxxer, Dr. Smalls. I was disappointed when I heard him speak at that debate, and he wasn't really anti-vax. What he was saying is, we need to do our research because we have a history. We understand what's going on. Ankh made it clear, look, we're in the middle of a pandemic, yo. Vaccines are the solution, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. He corrected his position, and Dr. Smalls has received the vaccine. That's a fact. So I'm not going to beat up on the elder.
I just had him on the phone. He said after he get his surgery, he going to do a surgery, right? He said he going to stop through and had that conversation. Yeah, he always been responsive. With evolution, all that, I can always call him. He be like, don't start that shit live on. Don't do that shit to me. He said, call me. And this is what he said. He said, always call me. Give me an opportunity. He said, because he said, sometimes I just can't see it. right? He said, but since you stand on my shoulders, you can look over the motherfucking wall and see it. I can't. Right? So he was giving me what they call shit. What's the word? What's the word you use, yo? He was trying to give me like he was kind of storytelling. He was trying to give me an analogy on there are going to be things that we're not going to be able to see. But the fact that the next generation is standing on our shoulders, they're going to be able to see. So he's saying, yo, give me a shot. Right? So from that point going forward, because it's a show. When I caught Professor Smalls, Samaz, what's the crazy guy with the Martian shit?
Delbert Blair.
Which one?
Huh?
Shit, which one?
Infodisi, Smalls, Samaz, they was all on one show. And I called up on the side of the thing, and they was talking that shit against evolution, which I clearly understood was going to be a tool that we was going to need, because that's what the serious elders taught. And so they was on there talking shit. So I caught them, right? Banged them up a little bit, right? Before the show was over with, Smalls called me and was like, come on, yo. He said, man, give me a shot, give me a call, right? I can't see it, right? He said, but you stand on my shoulders, you can see it, so just fucking explain it to me. And from that point forward, I always did that. So when he got up there, the vaccine thing, I'm gonna let him tell the story, right? I called him. He was like, man, I apologize. He said, I looked into the shit you were saying and you was fucking right. So for me, that's an elder. I don't need the elders to be perfect. I just need them to be an elder. I don't need you to fight me on some shit you know damn well you know what the hell you talking about. That's my point. So we got elders now that are not elders. They just older motherfuckers. Excuse my pseudoisms. All right? So I just tell them, look, don't fight me on that. We don't have elders these days because they will fight you on some things that they just have no understanding about. They only care about where they was, where they been. When the truth of the matter is, at the end of the day, nobody really cares about what you did. They all want to know what are you doing now. That's like me going back to Baltimore, Maryland with some tough Charlie shit. Them young boys don't care about what I did in the past. If I ain't sit out there slinging that tool, they're not going to respect that. Just that simple. So I can't go back with a vigor, roaring, like, yeah, I did that. Nobody want to hear that. So that's the same with the elders. We don't want to hear that. We want to hear right now from all the black, quote unquote, organizations, African Union, what else they got? Sean, come on, Sean, you know the name. The New Black Panther Party.
Anti-vax.
What you say?
Call them out. I was an anti, and then put anti-vax. Call them out. Black Panther organization, anti-vax. NOI, anti-vax. Shit.
The whole night is another one. The African, what you call it? Pan-Africanisms.
Nigga anti-vax.
The Prince of Pan-Africanism.
The Moorish temple of Yahweh, Muhammad, Allah.
Oh, man, listen, man.
Infantunde.
Man, we don't care about that.
FDMG, anti-vax.
We don't care about what you did. We want to know, what are you doing right now to give us clarity on the situation? That's what we want to know moving forward. Simple as that. There's no in between. There's no cut cards. There's no getting a pass. There aren't any passes. I have no passes. And I don't expect the next generation coming after me to give me a fucking pass. I don't want the pass. If you give me a pass, I'm gonna tear it up. Because if I can't handle the pressure, if we can't handle the pressure, then get the hell out the game.
Yep.
Game moves fast. If Brady ass can't handle the blitz, knock his motherfucking head off.
Yep.
Simple. Brady is proven to be able to play in an environment with people younger than him, win the damn Super Bowl. All right, he's proven that. So I'm saying, look, man, all that Nah, we work too hard, yo. We work too hard. What's going on, Sean? How you doing, brother? Pseudo Killer Official, man.
Peace, Sean.
Yo, what's up, everybody?
Science with Sean.
What it do?
Subscribe, like the show, Science with Sean. How you tune in? It's great information. You need to subscribe. Get those numbers up. Everyone that subscribe over here, go over to Sean, Science with Sean. Subscribe to the show. Information is on point.
Appreciate it.
It's coming. All right, let me play this clip and see what y'all guys say about that. We're going to talk about the 12 people behind most vaccine hoaxes on social media.
We need to get on these elders, man.
Yeah, we need that.
Huh?
Yeah,
you said what, Sean?
I agree with it.
Yeah, that's crazy, yo. They got so much sway, yo. Like, that's crazy for them not to be. Yo,
I'll be taking up for Smalls though. Yeah, soft spot for him.
Yeah, he always say that.
Me too. See y'all playing. That ain't true.
No, but it's cool.
It's all right.
Listen,
it's
man.
cool to have a soft spot, yo.
It ain't wrong. You do all. Ain't nothing wrong with that, bro. Ain't nothing wrong.
I got one for Farrakhan, yo.
You fight that. You fight that. Don't fight that. Don't fight that.
Respect
you gotta buy it.
Elder Small is the way he operates as an elder. So that soft spot is because he allows himself to be corrected. He provides.
Smalls ain't said too much shit I like anyway, so I ain't. That shit don't need move me.
So,
he ain't said too much stuff that I agree with.
Chef,
anyway,
I'm just saying, like, you behind an 8-ball when you're fight the power movement, so to speak, is anti-vax, bro. all the movements that rally the troops, like what chance do you stand when all those organizations are on the other side of the field?
The root of the problem is that the idea of scientific literacy, the idea of understanding the natural world around us has been equated to Europeans, to white. We are breaking that stigma right here, right now. Science belongs to us. Science belongs to everybody. And once we get that rooted in our people, we're going to see a dramatic shift. Now, we're radicals, right? Because...
Can I defend myself?
Oh, hell no.
Let me defend myself.
Not to defend. We ain't even offended you, Unc, for you to defend.
Nah. First of all, I don't have a fucking soft spot.
Yeah, you do. It's okay. Come on, yo.
Let me defend myself. Nope.
Bobby from B-More, yo. You still Bobby from B-More.
Nope. Oh, man, let me defend myself. Come on, Sean. I only defend Smalls because he has proven himself to be an elder. Not because everything he said out of his mouth is fucking right, because there's a lot of shit I don't agree that I've grown past. But that's not the point. On any issue I have with this information, I can actually sit down here and say, bro, send me some shit, and I lie to you not. Here, read that shit, and we'll discuss it. That's why he's an elder to me. Ain't no soft spot. Hold on, don't do it, Sean.
So I'm an elder.
Finish, Sean. Let me finish.
So I'm an elder.
I'm saying there is no soft spots because our life is on the line. I heard, and I learned that from Professor Smalls. I heard him say, look, I ain't like, quote unquote, blase. I'm gonna hold you to task. Simple as that. So don't get me, all right, Sean, you won't play. So I'm gonna get you the African shit. I have you cussing everybody out on this motherfucker. Lord have mercy. You see these Jordans right here, right? The white, the number ones, right? Mister, I don't see you wearing sandals, Sean.
You want me to go get my African sandals, sir?
You don't wear them.
Please don't do that. Please don't do that.
You don't wear them to the club, Sean.
He don't wear them to the club. He the first one with the new Jordans coming out.
When the last time you wore your African sandals to the club?
The fact that you gotta call them African sandals just make it even sound weird.
Hey, Sean, I'm African sandals.
Let's see
my African sandals, not to be confused with these Asian sandals I got.
My joint, hey,
Sean, wear your scarifications on your face. Let me see your scarification, Sean. Let me see your tribal marking, Sean. Where it be? Let me see your face, Sean. Put your face in the camera, Sean. Let me see which tribe you from.
Straight from the projects.
Look at him. Straight legs all scarred up and shit. I know your legs all scarred up.
From jumping fences.
Fences and concrete.
My scars are lupus. My scars are from lupus. That's it. All it is, my tribe is the lupus tribe.
All right, come on, man. Hold on. Let me play this real fast, man. Let's deal with the 12 people behind most of the vaccine hosts in social media.
Support for NPR and the following message come from BASF. Tap the play button below to hear how BASF scientists are working to improve electromobility through chemistry, creating materials for car batteries that can recharge more quickly and last longer.
In the fight to persuade skeptics to get COVID-19 vaccine shots, public health officials face a big hurdle: anti-vaccine claims, many of which come from a handful of influential social media figures. NPR's Shannon Bond reports.
This problem is nothing new to people who track misinformation. Many misleading claims and outright lies about COVID vaccines mirror what's been said about other vaccines. John Gregory is deputy health editor at NewsGuard.
You know, it's almost like conspiracy theory Mad Libs. They just have inserted the new claims.
And it's not just the claims that are familiar, it's who is making them. Just 12 people, dubbed the Disinformation Dozen, are responsible for the bulk of anti-vaccine content on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, researchers found. Imran Ahmed is CEO of the Center for Countering Digital Hate, which identified these figures.
The Disinformation Dozen produced 65% of the shares of anti-vaccine misinformation on social media platforms. They're producing the most shared content.
Some focus on natural health, some sell supplements and books, and many have long spread scientifically disproven medical claims and conspiracies. And they're still doing it now, proving how hard it is to stop hoaxes on social media. Ahmed says the claims they make about COVID come straight from the anti-vaccination playbook.
Denying that COVID exists, claiming that false cures are in fact the way to solve COVID and not vaccination, decrying vaccines and decrying doctors as being in some way venal or motivated by other factors when they recommend vaccines.
Lawmakers and state regulators have urged Facebook and Twitter to ban all 12 accounts. A note, Facebook is among NPR's financial supporters. The companies have stepped up the fight. They've labeled posts, even removed falsehoods, and banned people who repeatedly shared debunked claims. Still, the Disinformation Dozen are easy to find on social media. Ahmed says sometimes they skirt the platform's rules by using codes.
So, for example, instead of saying vaccine, they may, in a video, hold up the V sign with their fingers and say, if you're around someone who has been, hold up V sign, X might happen to you.
Or they take something true and distort it, like falsely linking a famous person's death to the fact they got a vaccine days or weeks earlier. Facebook says it now limits the reach of posts that could discourage people from getting vaccinated, even if they don't explicitly break its rules. Some of the Disinformation Dozen have toned down their posts, but the cat and mouse game continues. Take anti-vaccine activist Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
If the post like unicorns and kitty cat pictures on there, I can't post anything. It doesn't matter how true it is.
Facebook, which owns Instagram, kicked Kennedy off the photo sharing app in February, but he's still on Facebook. There, he advertises his website and newsletter, where he makes claims that would break Facebook's rules if posted there. Kennedy told NPR he's never posted misinformation and accused Facebook of censorship. He says the crackdown has sapped his ability to raise donations.
cost us hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Even as the social media companies have gotten tougher recently, researchers worry the persistence of these hoaxes will further erode confidence among people who are already hesitant about the COVID vaccines. That's especially concerning as shots roll out for kids 12 and up. Jessica Calarco is a sociologist at Indiana University. She's found more than a quarter of parents don't plan to vaccinate their kids.
So many of these moms are turning to Facebook, are turning to Twitter, are turning to other social media platforms. And they're saying every time I open my phone, I see something different.
Like stories about bad side effects. Even some parents who have been giving their kids routine childhood vaccines said they're unsure about COVID jabs.
And those kinds of social media-based reports are, in many mothers' minds, kind of weighed equally against the kinds of expert medical recommendations coming out of things like the CDC.
And that could make it hard to push down infection rates. Shannon Bond, NPR News.
And now more from NPR.
Live from NPR. All right.
I got a whole chapter on this.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, I got a whole chapter on this in my book.
Y'all can hear me?
Yeah, can you not hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you now. So there you go. All right. So y'all seen the pictures, am I correct?
Yeah.
Yep, Minister Louis.
Yeah, Mr. NOI himself.
So they go Robert F. Kennedy Jr., they get homeboy, the great minister, the great cult leader, respected individual, the leader of the Nation of Islam, beside this guy right here. The leading authority in the anti-vax community, the money behind the mission, that guy. Then you see Rizza Islam, the runner. He ran from a conversation. He said I wasn't qualified.
But he had a medical, personal, family emergency. Remember, we wasn't supposed to beat him up because he had a personal medical emergency. Fraud. Rizza Islam is a fraud. He's a phony, a fake, and a fraud. I said it. There you go.
I told Unc that he gonna say he gonna have a family emergency before
we knew
the take place. Didn't I tell you that, Unc?
Yeah.
We had a bet. We had a bet in the back chat. Remember? We knew he wasn't gonna show up.
So I mean, but this is what we up against, man. We up against this, man, and it just don't make no sense, man. We you know, like, what are we to do? Right? When you take that guy's information, blackanize it, and then give it to us. This is what it is. All right? This is exactly what it is. Here you go. Same guy, right? Yeah, that's him. He can't even talk. Talk like an ignoramus. But he got that Kennedy money, though. Here you go. Robert Francis Kennedy Jr., American environmental lawyer, author, and anti-vaxxer advocate. Here you go. Stay away from this. Since 2005, he has promoted the scientifically discredited idea that vaccines cause autism. I can't believe he's still saying that. How Robert F. Kennedy Jr. distorted vaccine science, America's Scientific America, and is the founder and chairman of the Children's Healthcare Defense. So he's using children, through these children, watch this, is an American activist group mainly known for anti-vaccine activities and has been identified as one of the main sources of misinformation on vaccines. He was the founder and is chaired by Robert F. Kennedy Jr., established under the name of, what's this? Mercury Project in 2016. Come on, man. This is what we up against. This is what we up against. This is what I debated in Harlem. Of course, along with Asar Hotep, Dr. Oyamayat, Garfield.
Raw Squad.
Bunch of nonsense, yo. It's a bunch of debauchery, man. This is what we got to go through right here. This is what we going through right here. Yeah, that's the dude. Man, yo, it's unbelievable, yo. Like really. And then we got people in our community. Just like, come on, man, look at what we up against. Hey, Sean, we waiting on that book, dog. Waiting on that book, yo. That's gonna be a good one, yo. That's gonna be a good one. So this is what we up against. We up against the money, we up against white people, and we up against black people to take white people's information and make it palatable. This is what's going on. All right. Let me look in the chat. Let's see what's in the chat. Got 66 fucking people. Right. They over there probably
listening to Inky.
Listen to Inky, probably want to hear some polite shit. Niggas don't even got the true polite shit. They got the half-witted polite shit.
Where he at?
Where who at? Who?
I said Inky, where he at?
Locked up with polite.
All right. I don't even understand what's all that about. Like, but anyway, I ain't trying to take it there.
And what is so surprising is that in our so-called conscious community, which I firmly agree we have never been a part of, I have always listened, but I came online when the pseudo squad came, when the pseudo killers came into being. Real Black Atheists, pseudo squad, scientific base, science with Sean. This is the community that I want to be a part of. No conscious community where you got Mfadushi saying the Africans named the sound after the hawk that went and selling his crystals. Enki with his high school chemistry test trying to sell his CMOS, the scammers and the frauds. We are not part of the conscious community. We are part of the Black intellectual community, the scientifically literate community.
It's not considered a conscious community, though.
Well, I don't know what consciousness as a definition in science is awareness of your surroundings. So if you talking all that spooky shit, you are not aware of your surroundings, you're not conscious.
It is led by the house of consciousness.
I call it the conscious community because, you know, your conscious is something that you feel. I switch it up. So they in that feel-good teaching.
Yes, sir. That feel-good, unscientific based church rhetoric.
Yeah, because your conscience told you. That's the kind of conscious community they
is. Yeah. That feel-good rhetoric. And what we are doing over here, and last night was obvious. At a certain point, a couple of people started to comment that Ankh was boring in his presentation, and I was cheering Ankh's presentation. That says the level of intellect that people are want. They want to be entertained. They don't want to be educated. They rather feel good rhetoric.
I'm gonna tell you like I told Ankh. It don't matter what Ankh say, no matter how right Ankh is, that crowd does not like Ankh, period. It ain't got nothing to do with the information. It's personal. They have a personal hate, right? No love. They got a personal hate for Ankh. Even when he was going through and dealing with the information and trying to walk people through processes on how to read scientific journals and what to look for and what on the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, I was in the chat.
Even the moderators are a good indicator on how the other people are going to behave. And you saw it's coming from the wrenches. So they
blocked me.
But look, Taharka, when we went over there the first time, when me and Uncle went over there the first time talking about vaccines, Taharka already had a position. How do you already have a position against something you ain't never took the time out to learn anything about? But you push this narrative as you understand what's going on. Like just in your level of questioning, we could tell how ignorant you are. Because you would never let me ask him for clarity last night. And all I wanted to do was make it make sense. Okay, are you referring to, and I wanted to give that to him. Are you referring to SARS-CoV-2, the virus, or are you strictly talking about COVID-19, the disease.
Yeah. I watched it back to like,
he never could die. Let me get that out, and we could never get clarity because all he wanted was a yes or no answer.
Yes or no, but that attests to his level of intellect. The information needed to be so simplified as to a yes or no question on a wrong premise. His premise was faulty. You're talking vaccine and cure. That means you do not understand the premise or the functioning of a vaccine fundamentally. So we need to clear that up before we get to go on.
Hold on for a minute, Cedric. This is what I've learned. That's why I brought the cartoon over there. I've learned that 90% of Americans, right, are not scientifically literate. I've learned that damn near 99% of the Black community are not scientifically literate. So I've learned to try to get straight to it. So that's why I say when Tahaga asks that question, just say no, and then explain why you said no. Explain to him why.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing.
You cut me off. Stop. Let me finish.
But you said to say no. But if I said no.
No, you cut me off. Let me finish, Sean. If you say no, he got to accept the no, and then you explain your no. Yes, you have to allow, once a person gives an answer, let me finish, Sean. You know damn well that 99% of people don't know that coronavirus is the virus that caused the disease COVID-19. So in those moments, we got to be able to explain that. You got to look at them like they 5-year-olds. They are that on this subject. So if you say no and then he cuts you off, then we cuss their motherfucking ass out and just leave. Because now you're not letting me explain the no. You're not letting me tell you that at no point was the vaccine ever supposed to cure anything. And your question is slap stupid. That's how we do that. It's just stupid. That's like me asking you, do your hat fly? Answer me. Does your hat fly? But it's not a plane. Answer me. Does it fly? Answer me. And you just say no. Yes or no. It's just dumb. So no, your hat doesn't fly because it's a fucking hat. And hats have never flew. Now unless the wind blows them off your head. I just had no idea you was that stupid to even remotely think that a hat could fly. That's how you get them. And you get them with the extra slick mouth after they do you like that. That's all I'm saying, yo, because he just kept going. He kept going, ask the question. He tried to put us in with Inky. That's what Inky do. No, that ain't what Inky do. Inky literally never answers the question. But go ahead, Sean, get your point in. Say what you were saying. Go ahead.
If you say no, then he has a question behind that, and the explanation goes unexplained. You say no, and he says, well, then why do I need to get the vaccine if it doesn't do this? You see what I'm saying?
I agree with you, Sean. You held your point, and you should have. The premise of the question was faulty. There was no way you could have answered that question just based on the technicality of the question.
Mm-hmm.
Associating vaccines with cures says you are fundamentally wrong in how you understand the operating mechanism of a vaccine. You cannot ask me if the vaccine can cure coronavirus, yes or no.
Hold on, Cedric. Listen, this is a chess game right here. And I'm letting you know that I have purposely figured out that the pseudos never answer questions. So my mechanism into forcing them to answer the question is to say, yo, just answer the question. So as you judge, you shall be judged. So Taharka took that the very next day and used it on Inky. Now that's his mantra, answer the question. So I already know why he doing what he doing, because we have literally taught him to make a person answer the question. So you give him a clear answer, no, because that's the truth though. Am I wrong in saying that? That is the truth, that no, vaccines don't cure coronavirus, no. So that's the honest answer, that's the truth. Now you explain to him how the question was slap stupid and you beat him up. That's all that's just my opinion on that. But I already set the bar to answer the question. So y'all know y'all gonna get that going forward. I'm just letting you know.
Still doesn't accept the answer at no. He will come quickly with another question.
Oh,
And
then you know you can't do that. Now, see, then you gotta say, look, motherfucker, I gave it, you cuss him out too. Look, motherfucker, I gave you the answer. Now let me explain this shit. That's how, hey, Sean, that's when you go off. Go off right after that, but don't go off before that. That's what I'm saying. You went off before that.
Just move. I hear you. I hear you. I hear you.
Yeah, that's when you cuss him out. Cause now, nigga, you just trying to be right. You just trying, cause that's what I said. I said, cause he asked me about, is it 100%? And I said, no. Yeah, but why would I? And he did that. He did just what you said, Sean. He said, well, why would I do that? I say, look, nigga, then I waited and let him get it. I say, look, nigga, y'all crazy motherfuckers just trying to be right at this point. At no point did anybody ever say that the shit was 100%. Yeah, this shit is frustrating, but I realized, though, we just got more information than they will ever have, and that's how they try to get out the game. They try to even never answer questions. They try to deflect. They do all that to get around actually doing what I was able to do yesterday. Just get them silent. Simple as that, yo. So he called you out anyway, though, Sean. Just go beat him up. Yeah, I don't know why he think he can get what you. Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why he overconfident with it too.
Yeah, but I agree with Sean. You need to come over here on our platform.
Yeah. So how can he come over here?
So suppose we don't happen, then what?
Then we go over there and beat him up. But I want in on that one. I want in on that one.
Fuck him.
That's how I feel about it, because all he gonna do is put us in the back when you make him feel small.
Yeah, he can't control that conversation. The conversation is bigger than him.
Yeah,
so
he always
if
been
he
the
don't
home
want to
fan.
have the conversation,
and that's the fact.
You need to be a visitor sometime.
Yeah, if he just wanted for his show and for his for content for his channel, then no, you ain't got to go over there. Cause we're about the information. Whether we get 10 people or 300, you know what I mean? We still put the information out. So it ain't about all that for us. We just want to have an intelligent conversation and put out good information. And if he ain't about that, then fuck him.
Yeah, he had a conversation and moderated.
He want to control the narrative, and just basically he asked a couple questions that he asked shows he has no command over the simple things. Like he didn't understand what a virus is. He couldn't tell us what a virus is. So what is he going to tell us about the immune system? He knows nothing about the immune system. He wasn't paying attention when you was teaching or talking about the immune system. He was somewhere else. And then when we were discussing, and we couldn't even really get to questioning his boy with the herbs, he said dude had already sent him some information. He read the information and he was rocking with the information that the dude sent him. So there was nothing, Unc, that you could send or I could send that would get him off his path and have him correct himself, because he has a belief. He's entrenched in his belief. He ain't getting the vaccine because there's something in it based on his perspective of out of ignorance. He don't want to do that. Like he asked me certain questions and then I want to answer for it, because that's why I said I answered the question the way that I did, and he didn't like it. Like he kept saying yes or no. I like, no, the vaccine prevents the spread of infectious disease, hospitalizations, and death. That's proven.
What I'm remembering
y'all asked him what was going to create an immune response, which herb was going to create an immune response.
That was a dagger.
And the man came up with a tea, with a mixture of tea, man, like black seed oil tea.
And it was all geared
that tea out so quick.
It was all geared towards relieving of symptoms of chest compression, chest pain, slime on the chest. So typical relief for colds and stuff like that. It was, again, not requiring an immune response, and it was therapeutic based. So everything Ankh asked him not to do, he did in that piss poor explanation. That was classic. I mean, but let's go back to one point. He said, and I quote, Brady won 16 games and lost one, and it defeated all the other 16 games. This was the level of confidence that he came into this debate. After Unk did his presentation, he was so off his game, he didn't know where to start or what to do. So it's 17-0. Brady is still the champion. Science is still undefeated.
For him.
That boy took an ass whooping last night out of this world. Let's be honest.
What I want to do is I'm going to play the clip and we can all discuss it. So what actually what y'all saying last night, I kind of grew up on certain things, right? I realized being super wild ain't gonna never help, right? I learned that since we carry the biggest guns, the thermonuclear knowledge weapons, the whole 9 yards, that at a certain point, you just gotta, you just gotta concede to their ignorance. Meaning, when I say concede, meaning let them have that. And I wasn't talking to the hawker, and I sure as hell wasn't talking to the herbologist. I was actually talking to the audience. So that's why when I did the presentation, I taught them how to read a scientific journal, right? I taught them what the immune system did. I showed them how herbs couldn't do what they was thinking they could do, and I explained the why. So if the hawker tried to come in later and say, you just memorized that, I said, no, I'm actually explaining how. Right? I can actually explain how they fixed, right? The mRNA vaccine. I can explain the how. What chemicals they had to do, what they had to do to put that, I explained it. So it wasn't, this is not based off memorizing. And I showed them the textbooks that I got it from. So I'm just saying, whenever we doing presentations, we gotta teach the people, because that's what it's about.
Teaching.
So, simple. There's no other way around. We're not even talking to the person we conversating against. At least that's the way I want to approach it. Now, when I'm dealing with Inky, I'm cussing this bitch ass out. Y'all just get mad. All right? So it is. I ain't trying to teach nothing. Yeah, because you've been fighting forever.
No. Yeah. There are certain cats that we just got to beat up. Inky, we just beat up. That's just a matter of fact right now, because he is part of the problem.
Here the clip. Man, why can't just after the fact, vaccines happen or used before the fact, which is a West African high science. Fight the pathogen with the pathogen. I'm done.
All right, here we go. Here we go. The moment everybody was waiting for. Here we go. Y'all ready? Everybody thumbs up. Let me see. We got some haters that was in here thumbing down. So I want to make sure that we get these thumbs up going so we can bring more shows like this when the teaching is in effect. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to agree with everything someone says, but you can take some of what some people said and you can throw the rest away or take it all and use it. I'm rocking with my man right here, but I'm not biased. And so I want to see what my brother brings to the table. And with that being said, Brother Rodney, you ready?
I'm ready, brother.
All right, I'm going to start the clock right now. 30 minutes. Let's go.
Okay, screen share. Okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to start with the PowerPoint. That's the conclusion, okay? First of all, what Ump was telling us, right? He was saying that this has already been tested and they ran the clinical trial. Well, the clinical trial that Ump was speaking of is this clinical trial. In this clinical trial of immunological memory to SARS-CoV-2 assessed for up to 8 months after infection. What it is they found in this study where you could go right here and look it up. It was done overseas, I think in Italy somewhere, they did it in a COVID ward, and they tested nurses and doctors. And the study concluded that natural immunity was far better than the vaccine. And he also said that the vaccine remembers the whole virus. Well, that's not the truth. It only remembers the receptors that cling to your cell that makes it so infectious. Whereas,
where you at, Sean?
Right here.
At this point, we was on the phone, and I was saying,
"You done lost," because this is. Whew.
I said, what? I said, that ain't even a study. I said, Sean, send me the study. You said, yeah, that's the Israel study. Here, I'm gonna send it to you.
That's the Israel study.
I say, Sean, the preprint? You say, yeah, the preprint.
Preprint.
I said, this nigga used the preprint. Let me show y'all real quick the study I had used. Look, this is the study that I actually used. Listen, watch this. This is what I actually used, right? Man, hold on. Let me show you the study I used and what I actually used this one. Let me share the screen for y'all real quick. Now he's talking about this is something I used. I didn't use that. Here you go, ladies and gentlemen. This is the study I used. Safety and efficiency of the BNT 162B2 mRNA. Now we all know that's the Pfizer. Right? I learned that from Sean. That Sean know that shit. He know all that shit. I was like, Sean. I learned that from Sean. Knowing, looking at the nomenclature and know which vaccine they
Sean a
talking.
nerd. Sean a nerd.
Yeah, you passed the nerd. I thought I was a nerd, yo.
Sean a
Super nerd.
virologist. He goes into the molecules, the direction of the receptors. Sean a crazy.
So yeah, this is actually the study that I brought forth for my presentation. He tried to counter it with the Israel study. Let me see. With this one, it didn't even make no sense. I don't even know if I left the Israel study up. Let me see.
But he's confusing the clinical trials with a study that's looking at natural immunity versus reinfection in vaccinated.
Yeah, he mixed it up.
And he mixing these things up. The two doesn't have anything to do with each other.
But he didn't add what he didn't add. He focused on natural immunity against fully vaccinated, but there was 3 parts to the trial.
3 clauses. He forget vaccinated
plus
one vaccine. So if he had mentioned that, he was then talking about accurate analysis of post-vaccine era. But he kept referring to the clinical trials being flawed and using this report, which we are talking about vaccinated versus unvaccinated, and this is an analysis of post-vaccine era compared to the vaccine trials. And so he kept confusing these 2 things, trying to discredit UNC's information about the vaccine trials and the efficacy and safety of the Pfizer vaccine.
So this is the one right here. This is what he was using. This is from Yale. And I should have read this. This article is a preprint and has not been peer reviewed. What does this mean? It says it reports new medical research that has yet to be evaluated and so should not be used to guide clinical practices or should not be used by people on Moore's TV to defeat a guy who's using this, an actual peer-reviewed article.
Can do.
That's the point right there, y'all. And check it out. I was so excited that I didn't even see that part right there. That's a misstep.
Like, why you just didn't read it off the article? It tell you right there that you can't use it for medical advice.
No, you see that, right?
Oversight.
Yeah, I said that was. I said that was my misstep. I was so, you know what I'm saying? At that point, I was trying to teach people what a preprint was, right? So what I should have read it off the article, then went to the Wikipedia preprint. That's why I said that was my misstep.
Yeah. So oversight.
Yeah. Ridiculous. You know how to, hey Sean, you know if I'd have seen that, I'd have clowned them out of super clown. Nigga, can't you read that right there? All right, so you got something to add to that, Sean?
Yeah, first you got to understand what clinical trials are and what studies are. There's different levels to it. So when you have an element of a mountain of scientific data, they merge it based on studies. So what he was referring to was a cohort study, and what Unc was referring to was a double-blind placebo clinical trial. So he was talking about preclinical trial data, and then 1, 2, and 3 data. This dude was talking about a study that they began the study in February, ended the study. Well, the third mass of people had to be vaccinated the infected one vaccination was in May. They ended the study in June. So they really only had about a month or so. After that group, they had a month or so of data that they relied on because Delta didn't emerge in Israel until June. It was first notified in June. The study began really after the vaccinated people, unvaccinated people, and the fully vaccinated people. It began for them in June. And then people don't know how many people was a part of the trial, how many missteps. They only used Pfizer. They didn't use Moderna. They have a contract with Pfizer, Israel do. So therefore, they did all of that. And then there's some one-for-one issues and researching and things like that. There's some methodological issues with that study that certain epidemiologists have. And all of that was brought to the forefront. But he didn't know that because he didn't know the study. What he was just trying to do was say, Unc is wrong. This is what they were trying to do. No, that's not what they were trying to do. In the preclinical trial studies, in the animal testing, they are trying to find out if the vaccine is safe and effective before they move the clinical study further. What I mean by that, and what Unc showed was he showed he was talking about the animal testing. They argued that it wasn't done. The animal testing was done because the first group of mice that they tried the mRNA vaccines on, they dissected them, opened them up to check the organs to see if the vaccine was rupturing or damaging the organs after so long. And once they got that data, they moved forward to more mice, continued the trials, and then they included the primates, and then and ferrets and a few other animals, they included them in the trials, and then they ran a small group of like 10 people in the phase 1. That's when they went to humans. If it didn't bode well in humans, I mean in the animals, it would have never got to humans, or they would have halted the human trials with the smallest group that they actually had from the first volunteers, and they never would have got to phase 2.
Hold on, stop right there.
Stop right there.
So you saying hold on, subject real quick. So you saying that? So when did they run? What study did they run concurrent with the humans?
Preclinical trials. This is on the genetically modified white mice.
Gotcha.
I'm specifically saying the white mice because they have the mice, and it doesn't take them long to make. They had to genetically engineer a certain sequence in the mice so that they can infect them with COVID.
Right.
Once they did that, they infected them with COVID, and they infected some with COVID. Then they vaccinated the others. Cool. That's there. After that, they moved on to mice, to non-human primates, and other animals. Now, at that point, right? So you got late March, early April. In early April, about the second week of April, you have what they call a phase 1, phase 1/2, which is concurrent. They begin the phase 1 and they begin the phase 1/2 concurrent once they got the safety data out of the animals. Remember, earlier on in the studies, I showed like a long time ago on the Moss Warrior Clan, where they got clinical trial data from the monkeys, and then they was like, nah, this not good data. We didn't get good results. So they went back and modified the messenger, changed it up, and did a whole nother trial, and then got the results up out of it. I said, look, this information came out by accident. I said, this information wasn't even supposed to come out. And they talked about that. So we got that. Came out. Therefore, we found out right then and there that they were already fixing the problem. They recognized the problem, fixed the problem before they got the humans. So now we know that they was dealing with primate. They already was dealing with mice. Then we knew they was dealing with primates. So we knew we was getting somewhere. By the time we get to the second week or third week of April, we had 10 people that was already signed up for the mRNA trials.
Right there.
Once they got them people signed up, they knew once they switched up what they needed to in the non-human primates, they had enough time to say, all right, let's go. And just move forward.
Right there, Sean. Hold right
Hold
there.
on, Cedric, I got you. Hey, Corey, you still there, right?
Yeah, well, I'm still here.
All right, so you go ahead for Cedric. Go ahead, Cedric.
Now, this is where I'm going to say, look how this young man either didn't understand the information or was purposely turning that piece of information there into misinformation. He kept focusing on the fact that the animal testing was done simultaneously with the human testing, not referring to the fact that it was the last phase of animal testing combined with the first phase, a very small group of human testing. And it was only done based on the results acquired in the preclinical trial. He didn't mention that and made it seem as if the clinical trial information was bogus, because what they weren't telling us is that they were running the experiments on the animals simultaneously with that of the humans. He kept referring to the fact that at this moment, they're still testing animals, and we are all part of the clinical trials. So what we are doing now is still clinical trial and not actually executing the vaccination process. He kept focusing on that point there, and he was twisting that piece of information from the clinical trials to make it seem as if the information that you were presenting wasn't factual and wasn't up to date. He kept talking about the so-called fine print.
Corey.
Yeah, he was just totally just misreading and misunderstanding that whole point. And like we had went over that in earlier pseudo shows already about them. That's why, because at first they were saying, well, how they got the vaccine too fast, and we talked about how they did those trials, that trial simultaneously. And that was one of the reasons why we was able to get the vaccine, in a fast manner that we did or whatever. So like, yeah, we've been through this already. That was old information. Had he watched the pseudo killers earlier at the beginning of the pandemic, he wouldn't have brought that point up, because he would have known we had already went over that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I mean, most of what he said was from 2020. You know what I'm saying? He didn't have no information. He got old pseudo information. You know what I mean?
All right, let's go.
Natural immunity sees the whole virus and copies the whole virus, the spike crown and everything, instead of just the receptor. But we're gonna go to, I think I have all of this here. It's time to help people.
Don't want to show no fucking commercial.
He completely off his game, though. You can tell.
Spend that $11.99 for YouTube Premium.
Oh yeah, he was definitely like shook up. Like
he was shook
at the basically in the middle of his second go round, I guess, because he gave y'all 10 minutes the second time. He basically just already threw the towel in, because he was like, yeah, you was right. I didn't have my presentation the way I supposed to have it. All this whole other shit. It's like, nah, it ain't about the presentation to me. It's about the quality
information.
Yeah. So if your information quality, just roll with it. Just give your information. Show where you got your information from. That's all we can. he tried to claim that he was some type of expert, though. You
The
know,
expert in what?
what he said. But I thought he said I couldn't hear. I didn't hear it correctly. I thought he said he was a professional film director or something. What did he say he was?
All right, let's read. Can y'all see the comments?
Oh no, the peanut gallery. Oh shit.
Natasha Kayleen said mRNA gives the ability to alter DNA by switching genomes off or on. This is why you heard about years ago getting rid of the God gene. The info is all here. It's just a matter of finding it. Man.
God gene?
Yeah, then it say Unc is a goofy. It say Unc is a goofy. Learn to read. Let's go.
Before you let me get to where I need to be. Okay, I'm gonna go right here first. Okay, I'm just gonna prove to you that this hasn't been tested, and it hasn't been tested on animals at all. It's been tested simultaneously right now on animals and human beings. It hasn't been a clinical trial. We are the people who have it are the clinical trials.
You see what I was saying?
From the CDC, weakened immune system. Well, this is just people with HIV and those with weakened immune systems due to other illnesses or medication might be at increased risk for severe COVID-19. They may receive a COVID-19 vaccine. However, they should be aware of the limited safety data. Information about the safety of COVID-19 vaccines in people who have weakened immune systems in this group is not yet available.
When is this from, though? This 2 years old, man.
No, this is simply talking about, look, vaccines and weakened immune systems. It's not talking about everyday old regular people. It's talking about people with weakened immune systems. Simple as that. This is what the study is talking about. He didn't mix up everything. Like, he just grabbing shit like he don't even know. He think the vaccine ain't safe because it ain't good. They don't know all the data on weakened immune system. He has mixed it all out. He doesn't even know what a weakened immune system is. That's the whole point. It's a bunch of debauchery at this point.
Well, he clearly read like AIDS and lupus. Like I heard that earlier, and I'm like, man, like he didn't understand that you talking about people with compromised immune systems here. I mean, I didn't really understand. He ain't reading before. I think he typing in what he want to hear, but they actually giving him good information. You know,
right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Crazy.
I wanted to butt in and let y'all know real quick. Yeah, on this slide right here, this slide doesn't make sense for him to present it because initially when you're looking at the Israel study and then you're trying to combine certain other information with this stuff.
How that work though?
Shots for them elderly people that are in Israel. So the whole thing is about booster shots. You need to get
exactly.
So what he tried to do was flip the script on UNC and then pull from vaccines and weakened immune system, which still supports UNC because a weak immune system means that you're immunocompromised and you need a booster shot. So that goes from there. Talking about the animal trials, right? When he started referring to they still doing animal trials, no, because we know for they moved on for certain mice because they needed to open up organs. And then you had a Texas lawman that claimed that the dang on animals was dying from the vaccine initially. So the whole presentation that I did that day on Did They Skip Steps, I included the Texas senator who made the claim that animals was dying from the trials. So if he's saying the animals are dying from the trials and you saying that the animals are still going on with the trials, bro, they're not carrying out mice for no whole year or 2 years for some research. It's almost about to be 2 years in a few months. These next 5 months gonna blow by so fast. It's 2 years worth of data in. So the whole premise was just crazy. So, you
But
know,
he
I
starts
tried to
off
say,
by saying they didn't test animals, and the very next sentence say they testing animals simultaneously with humans. So which is it though? Either they didn't test animals, or they are testing, or did test animals. Which is it? You
All
got
right,
me
let's
confused.
see. He gonna tell us. He gonna let us know. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the greatest presentation for vaccines I've ever seen in my life. He actually reads it. He gives you good information. Then watch. Let us move on.
So that means they haven't tested any of this with weakened immune systems like lupus. You know.
They haven't tested it. Why they testing it? Why you reading saying they testing it? Man.
Disorders. All of it. You know what I mean?
That's why I took the
haven't
vaccine.
tested this yet.
Yes, yeah.
That probably won't work as well if you have a weakened immune system, but the shot should still offer some protection.
Did he just read that?
Did he just read that with you?
Hey.
He didn't skip it. He read it.
But the vaccines don't work.
What'd you say, Sean?
He didn't skip it. He read it, and what he
read
that.
Hey, yo, you know he's supposed to skip that. Oh, no, I ain't mean that.
I ain't mean it, yo.
Hold on. Let's see. Hold on.
Come in there. This is the time I was trying to tell you. Listen.
It get worse.
Have it are the clinical trials. And it says this is from the CDC, weakened immune systems. Well, this is just people with HIV and those with weakened immune systems due to other illnesses or medication might be at increased risk for severe COVID-19. They may receive a COVID-19 vaccine. However, they should be aware of the limited safety data. Information about the safety of COVID-19 vaccines in people who have weakened immune systems in this group is not yet available. So that means they haven't tested any of this. Weakened immune systems like lupus, autoimmune disorders, all of this. You know what I mean? They haven't tested this yet. Vaccines probably won't work as well if you have a weakened immune system, but the shot should still offer some protection.
Yep, you read it.
I have to tell you the truth. They haven't tested this at all. We are the trial.
He just said they tested it.
You're going through a clinical trial right now, and I'm going to prove this to you. Let me get to where I need to be.
This way good right here, boy.
Okay, let me get to this article. I want to read this for you.
He clearly didn't understand that. Like, that was clear he didn't understand a word.
He didn't understand nothing he read.
Wait a minute. All I want to tell you is, all I want to say to the ladies and gentlemen, this is something that Sean sends out to everybody. It's a damn fact checker. I am telling you that this guy is saying that they didn't use animal trials, right? But yet he presents an article that fact checks the misinformation that he's trying to say. I've never seen it before in my life.
Saturday Night Live couldn't have done a skit better than that. Like, that was the satire. It was like satire. Like, it wasn't like, you know how some supposed to be like, flat out funny. Like that was straight up satire. Like I said,
oh shit.
Saturday Night Live couldn't do a better job of that, dude. That was the best satire I've seen, man. It's crazy, man.
Listen,
go ahead.
I'm gonna go back a little bit. Watch this. Watch this. I just can't believe it, yo. Like, I'm just amazed at this.
RNA vaccines that skip animal trials. I want to read this for you. Trial right now, and I'm gonna prove this to you. Let me get to where I need to be.
What is he trying to prove? They didn't test it. Hold on. Let me tell you what they're trying to prove.
See, they have to tell you the truth. They haven't tested this at all. We are the trial. It hasn't. You're going through a clinical trial right now, and I'm going to prove this to you. Let me get to where I need to be. Oh, this is where okay. Okay, let me get to this article. I want to read this for you.
Wait, man, let me just see your face, man. Hey, Corey, is he about to read the article, yo? Is he about to read the article? Is he about to read it? Hey, Nahisi, man, you sent that boy there, yo. You gave that boy them articles, Nahisi. This is something out of your playbook, Nahisi. This is out of your playbook, Nahisi. Hey, man, you set me up, Nahisi. I'm telling you right now. Hey, man, I can't do this no more, man. You gotta unmute yourself, Nahisi. Unmute yourself, yo. You just not, hey man, you better stop playing with me, yo. You better stop playing with me, yo. Matter of fact, it's a pseudo killer's joke. Corey, you in on it. Cedric, you in on it. Malcolm and Sean, y'all did me like that, yo. Y'all put that boy in there and gave that boy all that scientific information and made him read it. I ain't playing with y'all no more, yo. Yo, and I appreciate y'all, yo. Somebody please tell me it was a joke. Don't play with me like this, yo. Come on, yo. I'm waiting for you on candid camera. We got you. Where's that at? I thought y'all was gonna tell me today, hey man, we just got you with that. Man, listen, okay. All right. Let me do this, y'all. Y'all gonna see why I'm tripping. Okay. I cannot believe this, yo. Y'all set me up, yo. I got a feeling in my bones, yo. I got a feeling in my bones, man. Here we go.
Pfizer and Moderna did not skip animal trials. I want you to listen to what is being said. The Pfizer and Moderna vaccines are mRNA vaccines that skip animal trials because using mRNA vaccines on animals triggers dangerous inflammation. Assessment, false. Pfizer and Moderna did not skip animal trials when testing their COVID-19 vaccine. As the race the use of COVID-19 vaccines continue, most online are spreading misinformation. Okay, this is the truth. Recent posts are criticizing.
Man, this gotta be fake, man. This gotta be fake, man.
Assessment false.
Hey, Corey. He said he read it and he said, this is the truth. They spread misinformation about vaccines. Man, fuck it, man. Man, fuck that shit, man.
What you just experienced. What you just experienced.
Straight up satire. Satire.
What you just experienced. When you go to college, they make you read about 2 paragraphs and they ask you a whole bunch of questions about them 2 paragraphs you read. It's called reading comprehension. His reading comprehension skills is poor as hell.
How is he in
the thing is, like, it was
Corey, you did that shit, Corey. I ain't playing with you, Corey. You sent that dude, yo. Yo. I ain't playing with y'all no more, yo.
I think that in the middle of him reading that, like, he kept realizing, like, because he did it like 3 or 4 times, like when he would read an article, right, in the middle of him reading it, he would realize like what he was saying, like, because the way he would like stop, you know, and then he would hone in on a half a sentence that he read that he taken out of context. It was just crazy to me, man. It was It was nuts, man. He wasn't prepared, man.
Comprehension is real.
That ain't fair. I ain't giving you that. He wasn't prepared, man. He would have gave you a better fight if he'd been prepared, man.
Hold on, somebody say I can press the button. Shoot check. You say I can press the button, go back 5 seconds. What button, yo? I don't see no damn button on here, yo.
I am with Nehisi.
Both announced that their vaccines were more than 90% effective at preventing COVID-19. One tweet with more than 4,000 likes says that the two companies did not conduct animal trials when testing their vaccines because testing mRNA vaccines on animals could cause dangerous side effects.
Here it comes.
From Pfizer, BioNTech, and Moderna both rely on messenger RNA, mRNA vaccines contain a genetic code that trains the immune system to recognize the spike protein on the surface of the virus to generate an immune response. Due to the urgent need for the vaccine in a surging pandemic, Pfizer and Moderna were given approval to simultaneously test their vaccines on animals while they were conducting phase 1. They haven't made it to phase 2 and phase 3 trials on humans.
They haven't admitted.
The vaccines were tested on mice. You see what I'm saying? They haven't been testing them.
They haven't admitted to 2 and 3, but they admitted to 1 though. You see?
Nice. Yo, what button do I push to go back 5 seconds, yo?
On the screen.
Where, yo?
Arrows.
Nah,
on the screen.
Ain't no damn arrows on the screen.
Simultaneously as they're testing them on humans. Okay, we're gonna get to something else.
Oh man.
So everything that I just told you was incorrect.
I ain't saying nothing, yo.
True. Okay, I want to get myself together. I wanted to clear that up.
Yo, thank you for clearing up that they actually tried it on animals in phase 1 with the mic. I appreciate that good information, dog. I appreciate that, yo.
Thank you.
You cleared it up, yo. You cleared it all up for us, yo. Thank you. Clarity is incredible. Okay.
Good job.
Good job, man. Hold on.
Because the clinical trials, I have that here as well. This is the trial enrollment, and it was done in Argentina, Brazil, Germany, Turkey, South Africa, and the United States. And these are the people who signed up. And
all right, so here, this is what's confusing right here. Is here he pulls up a screenshot of actual trial enrollment from a worldwide study, right? Because they had 70-some, 80, almost 80-some thousand people, or let's just say in total, over 140-some thousand people in all 3 trials.
Yeah, but Sean, what you're missing the point is those places don't have black people.
Come on, yo. Y'all, it's crazy, yo. Hold on. Watch this dude teach, yo. He's bringing up clinical trials. He's really saying it's really being tested. He's admitting it while he's saying they're not doing clinical trials. Are y'all getting this, yo? He's saying we the test, and then he say they testing it on us now, but yet he brings up clinical trials from a year ago. He beating himself up right now. He beating himself. Watch.
as you can see, they're only Asian, Black, Hispanic, Latino, and Native American. Where in the U.S., it's only 10% of Black. Overall study had 10% Black, but in the U.S., they only had 10%, the whole thing. So here.
Come on, yo. Come on, yo. Come on, yo. Man, who is this? Man, can we bring him on the show?
No.
Gotta get his phone number, yo.
No.
Gotta bring him on the show.
No.
Come on, yo.
No. No. The young man gonna commit suicide. Leave him where he be.
All right, let's hear him. Let's finish him.
They're testing us right now. Actively testing us. It hasn't been concluded. It hasn't been done. So you can go. This is the whole test on the COVID-19 efficiency of the vaccine and natural immunity. This is the where you can go find it. It shows you everything. In immunological memory is the ability of the immune system to quickly and specifically recognize an antigen that the body has previously encountered and initiate a corresponding immune response. Generally, these are secondary, tertiary, and other subsequent immune responses to the same antigen. Okay, the conclusion of this study that they took, that he was showing you the clinical trial, it was of this, and he didn't even know what he was reading. It was reading that natural immunity was better than the vaccine, and this is the conclusion to that test. The study demonstrates that natural immunity confers longer lasting and stronger protection against infection, symptomatic disease, and hospitalizations caused by the Delta variant of the SARS-CoV-2.
All right, so this is this is serious. This is a bait and switch at its finest. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, he started his argument with the Israel study. He concludes with the Israel study, which I don't even know if this is the Israel study because I can't really see it. But in between both of those, he shows you a phase 3 data screenshot, right? He doesn't show us the actual thing, but he shows us a phase 3 data screenshot for a clinical trial that was done a year ago. It ended in December of 2020. That's what he showed y'all. He showed y'all the enrollments for if he says 70-something thousand, then that would be Moderna. He never says which enrollment or study it was for. But he brings up the clinical trials for that because the Israel study does not deal with people in South America, the United States, South Africa, and other parts of the world. That was the mRNA study. The Israel study is based on Israel data only.
Yes, and it's not a clinical trial. It's an assessment of real-time vaccinated versus unvaccinated. They're assessing natural immunity versus vaccine. The discussion whether vaccine work or not is no longer on the table. We know their work. This is just an assessment. Has nothing to do with the clinical trials. So he's baiting and switching and boomerang daggering himself all at the same time. This shit is funny.
All right, let's go. Let's go. Come on, bro. Rock out.
Compared to the biotech 2-dose vaccine induced immunity. Individuals who were both previously infected with SARS-CoV-2 and given a single dose of the vaccine gained additional protection against the Delta variant. But this whole conclusion shows you that your natural immunity was way better than the vaccine, where the vaccine is not effective at all. They're saying it's wearing off after 2 to 3 months. That's why they're speaking of booster shots. We're going to go a little deep. Well, they just said
we're going to go a little bit deeper. That's why I can go deeper, yo. Go deep, yo. Go deep, yo.
The FDA approved it, right? The vaccine. Well, the 2 senior FDA vaccine regulators stepped down because they wouldn't sign on and put their names on the vaccine or the booster. They were having too many side effects from the booster. It hadn't seen any long-term effects. The short-term effects are, kind of deafening and scary. They're very scary. See, Siak gave a lot of misinformation about what he was speaking of. He was speaking.
That dude said, infected, you know how a person get infected and get one shot, that produces the best immunity. He actually read that.
He read it and turned around and said, he read it and turned around and said that natural immunity is the best. He actually read it and then concluded falsely that the unvaccinated natural immunity is the best option. Meanwhile, the same report says, after being infected, At least one shot gives you the best immunity. You respond.
So let's read the chat. Let's read the crazy chat. Capstone says, the vax is designed to kill your penile gland. I give up. Really? Let's go.
Of a clinical trial, didn't even know what he was talking about. The clinical trial that he showed about the T cells, they were showing that the natural immunity stood up against the vaccine.
Bait and switch.
You know, that's what it was showing. Let me get to where I need to be now.
Now we're gonna get to where you need to be. He was just warming up, Unc.
Before I get to
you warming up.
You're warming up.
Because I want to get to where I am right here. The cytostorm. Okay, the vaccine is supposed to go in, and the messenger RNA of the vaccine takes a picture of the spiked protein, the receptor that binds to your cell. And it only remembers that receptor. So once it gets a picture of that receptor, then it remembers and it rapidly reproduces that receptor that clings to your cell and allows the virus to enter. That's what makes it so contagious. Well, they're saying that the vaccinated have higher viral loads than the unvaccinated. That means they're more contagious and they can distribute this virus.
Just say anything, yo. That source don't say that.
So
anything.
Yeah.
So, all right, real quick. So the definition of a cytokine storm is when a severe immune reaction in which the body releases too many cytokines into the blood too quickly. That's what a cytokine storm is. I'm gonna say it again. It's when you have a severe immune reaction in the body and it releases too many cytokines into the blood too quickly.
It's a natural byproduct.
For normal immune response.
It happens naturally. Cytokines are produced by T cells, the exact CD4 cells. They produce the cytokines which kill the infected cells. So what happens is when you get a COVID infection, when you get infected with the SARS-CoV-2 virus, you have a high replication of the virus in, for example, the lungs. So what happens is you get a high inflammation rate because you get a high production of cytokine cells that rush to this spot and start to attack the cells. So they're actually attacking the infected cells. In this case, your lung cells. That's why your lungs actually fill with fluid. This is all the information pre-vaccine. This is what COVID does to the body.
Okay, man. You got niggas saying, I think the I'm Raw Squad is a covert psychops psychochronicle operation. What? PSYOPs are intended to convey selected information, indicators to foreign audiences to influence their motives, objectives, reasonings, and ultimately the behavior of foreign governments, organizations, groups. And what in the world is going on here, boy? Yeah. All right, man, let me get back to this guy. Yo. He's like going
more effectively than a person that's not vaccinated.
You can't, come on, man.
This is his shot record. And if you can read this, it's kind of blurry. It said, a week ago today, my brother's 13-year-old son had his second COVID shot. Less than 3 days later, he died.
Anecdotal evidence.
No.
The herbs don't work, but these are two testimonials from people that I grew up with, you know what I'm saying? And I don't think they will lie about.
This is what I want you to know.
What helped them get over.
If a 13-year-old kid died, we should be able to pull that up right now.
Yeah.
Listen to me closely. If a 13-year-old kid died from a second COVID shot, then we should be able to pull it up.
Facts.
So there's only one vaccine that they can get, and that's Pfizer.
Yep.
Man, all right, here we go. He reading from a Facebook post.
Over COVID, and it says, but I'm going to go past that because I want to prove I'm wrong. Okay, these are two people that are dear to me that have been vaccinated. Sunday night vibes.
Emotional appeal.
I could say happy Sunday, but I started feeling bad Friday. And being fully vaccinated, I never thought it would be COVID. Well, I was wrong. I tested positive today. And this isn't a joke. This shit has me in tears flowing down my face. I am in so much pain. Please stay masked up and stay safe. Just when I thought this had passed, well, it hasn't. Can't MF stop coughing. Can't lay down. Draining into my back, in the back of my throat, choking this out of me. Can't breathe while lying down. This is another young lady. Healing. Only my closest friends and family know I've been sick for the past couple of weeks. Being prior military and having taken multiple vaccines, I decided to take the VA Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine July the 14th. I started having symptoms immediately that progressively worsened over time. I've not been hospitalized due to my fears of unwanted vacations in the hospital. And because I took the vaccine, I believe I stayed at home very ill. COVID affects your mental, physical, emotional, and psychological being. During this time, love in each other as much as you possibly can. With your mask unvaccinated if you choose, and 6 feet apart to those MFs you don't know. And for some of those that you do. The world is literally heaven and hell, and we are all paying our pence. Heaven is what you make of your world inside this place. Okay, these are vaccinated people. These are people who thought that getting vaccinated, they wouldn't have to go through this, right? They're saying that the vaccines work. They're
trying to get
the second claim. This person got vaccinated, but there is no.
People. The first and the third person is the same person. James Dennis is the same name. Look, James Dennis, the first.
Okay. So now the person got the J&J. They admitting they didn't end up in the hospital. They were experienced. It's not clear whether they got the shot and contracted COVID or they was experiencing some side effects from the shot. That's not clear. But either way, he didn't end up in the hospital. He ain't dead. The vaccines did what they were supposed to do, prevent hospitalization and death. So what's his point though?
Are you sure he on our side, yo? That's the point. Hold on, let's move up a little bit. Because then he gonna actually show a whole movie on how the vaccines work.
So how do these vaccines work? Are they safe? And how do they compare to traditional ones? But first you must understand how the immune system works. When a virus enters your body, it will attach itself.
Okay, man, I'm not even gonna play that because he just shows how the vaccine really works. The whole video is dedicated to showing you how it works. This is ridiculous. Let me see. What?
He didn't go deep into truth. He was spinning.
2 minutes.
2 minutes? Okay. Well, I wanted to play. Let me get to this one, to the end.
No, I ain't listening. No, I ain't gonna do that.
That's the most incredible presentation I've ever seen in my whole life. Wow.
Hold up, wait.
Hold on, let me get that. Man, I don't know what to do with this guy here, boy. Hold on.
He was exhibiting every logical fallacy in the book. Beautiful, appealing to emotion, using anecdotal evidence, nothing supporting what he's saying, making claims. Classic. And boomerang daggering himself in the process. We can't hear nothing now.
Dude, dang, Rodney, so funny. Rodney is crazy, yo.
10 minutes. He just took 3 minutes. No. We didn't start the clock yet. So from here on. Okay, so let me say something. And don't start the clock. Okay, go ahead. Ladies and gentlemen, please use his information. His information proves my point. Do the rewind. I got all the shit he used to show you that he boomerang dagged himself. That's the most incredible presentation I've ever seen in my whole life. Wow. Hold on. Appreciate you, bro. It's detrimental to the human body. Hey, bro, I appreciate you. Okay, we're gonna do that on the close, Rodney. With that being said, give 10 minutes of your closing. Put me in the game, coach. Put me in the game. You can use whatever you want, Rodney. After him, you got 10 minutes. You can do whatever you want. I'm gonna start the clock now. Let's go. Using Rodney's information, what we say is a pseudo always dies at the source. So I really.
So look, in the chat, look. Unc is the police. Look, I'm the police. Look, see? I'm the police. So in this community, you the police when you give proper information with proper methodology. Unc is a walking, talking ad hom. Unc is lost. And somebody say, Rodney, stand down. All right, what else? He didn't comprehend what he was reading. Talking about the other guy, yo. Say anything that boosts the natural immunity system naturally is better than any synthetic properly placed into the body. That takes a minute to explain. No, it don't. You cannot boost your immunity system anyway.
Hey, first of all, it takes you longer to build an immune response naturally than it does by a vaccine-induced response.
Right.
So it takes longer for your immune system to respond to a natural infection. That's an absolute fact.
That's why the vaccine prevents the disease.
This lady say both of y'all sound silly to me. Yeah, because you had no comprehension.
None whatsoever.
None. Unc got served. I bet I did. Short bus rider. Yeah, let me see.
Taught y'all how to read a science fiction journal. Rodney must wasn't paying attention. This is the first thing Rodney used for us. Okay, hold on. Let me share my screen. Rodney says, share screen, boom. He says out of his mouth, they ain't used no clinical trials. And then he pulls up this. This says Pfizer and Moderna did not skip clinical trials. And somewhere in the middle of him reading it, he realized he was in trouble. But remember, he said it. Use the rewind. Rodney said that they skipped animal trials and they didn't use the monkey in animal trials. And he actually used this from the AP. Excellent source, Rodney. I appreciate you, buddy. Here's the claim. The claim is Pfizer and Moderna vaccines are mRNA vaccines that skipped animal trials because using the mRNA vaccines on animals triggers dangerous information. AP's assessment, false. So it was false, Rodney. I don't know why you read this, but you did. Pfizer and Moderna did not skip the animal trial when testing the COVID-19 vaccine. Well, it's over with that. So let me go right here. He said that they didn't use monkeys in the clinical trial. No, keep reading. Keep reading up. Hey, he's cutting me off. I don't want you to do that. Be nice, bro. Yeah, I don't gotta keep reading. The audience has it to keep reading. I don't gotta keep reading that because it debunked the whole thing. Here you go. Monkeys behind the COVID vaccines. It's from the National Primate Research Center. Just like I said, ladies and gentlemen, so they did use primates in that. It says, as announced in November 2020, right, the Moderna and the Pfizer
mRNA vaccine tested on rhesus monkeys were more than 90% effective in the preventing of COVID-19 and widespread phase 3 human clinical trials and are now on track for the emergence of the FDA approval. So once again, Rodney killed himself. But this source clearly proves my point that they did test it in primates in the preclinical trial. Do you know what preclinical trials are? Before they get you the humans. Come on, man. Knock it off. Here you go. He also used this one, comparing SARS-CoV-2 natural immunity to vaccines-induced immunity, reinfection versus breakthrough infections. He didn't know. He didn't take our class. Right here, ladies and gentlemen, this says the preprint server for health science. It's a good one, BMJ or Yale. It's a good one, but pay attention. It's a preprint. Let me teach you what a preprint is. Here you go, ladies and gentlemen, a preprint. In academic publishing, a preprint is a version of a scholarly or scientific paper that precedes before formal, let me take it slow, academic publishing. A preprint is a version of a scholarly or scientific paper that precedes formal peer review and publication in a peer-reviewed scholarly or scientific journal. The preprint may be available often as a non-typeset version available free before or after it is published. Here you go. Man, so look, man, this nigga, what else? I don't even want to go through all that. I don't want to put y'all through all that, man. Let me see. Let me see where we at. Anyway, man, the whole debacle, man, we're gonna put it up on the channel, man. That's all it did, the whole damn thing, man. Any of y'all got the add on that? Y'all can watch the whole thing, man. I think I'm gonna download it tomorrow, man. But it was a debacle, man. It was the worst. Oh, we need to get you, Sean. Really, what we need to get you is the part with the Hawker was talking crazy. You want to get to that?
Yeah, we can do that. I got time. I ain't running today. It rain.
You ain't running.
Nah, not in the rain. I mean, it was 3 days running the rain.
So they're saying there's evidence that the herbal remedies are efficient. See, he kind of breezed over that. These articles are to deter you because they're saying they haven't researched. They haven't researched them because they don't want you to heal yourself. They want to give you a medication that maintains the illness, that breaks down other organs in your system to put you
the
on
vaccine doesn't behave like a drug. It's a biological. The vaccine prevents all the things that he's talking about. So if it's a prevention, then you're not going to have these symptoms and things of that nature. This is why naturally infected people with long COVID who still can't taste and smell, who have problems breathing and such, they find relief when they get vaccinated. They find that because the vaccine is helping do some things in them that was not happening naturally. So you tripping when you talk about all the things that you're talking about regarding vaccines. There's a lack of misunderstanding. He needed to listen to you talk about how vaccines work, and he didn't listen to you, and therefore he already started with a faulty premise, and he had no research question to even present what he presented. He just threw up a whole bunch of rebuttal junk together just to argue back with you. He just came to argue, to have some type of rebuttal to something, to create doubt. He's doing exactly what you said, what they said in the NPR, or what we heard Robert Kennedy and Dale Bigtree always say. We need to create a distraction. We need to create some type of hesitancy, some type of doubt. And that's exactly what anti-vaxxers do. They create some type of hesitancy. And what better way than use black people to do that? I've been told y'all this it's about privilege. When you went up there to debate, dude, I said that. I said, man, this is about white privilege. You know what I'm saying? And they're going to use us to protect their privilege.
And again, he goes over into therapeutics. A vaccine is preventative-based medicine. If I don't need any drugs, that whole argument about keeping me on your system and damaging my organ, it's prevention based. And what it does, it trains your body to respond. So after 2 weeks, there is no evidence of any vaccine or any mRNA or anything of the sort in your body. What you now have is your body has acquired the ability to respond to an infection faster, thereby preventing the disease.
In your body. That's what he said. He said the spike protein in your body.
He's confused. He's misinformed and twisting the information. All like he's talking about the receptor. It's the only thing that is identified. No, the whole spike protein is identified, which includes the A1, the ACE receptor. So again, there he's misinformed. There's a certain amount of cells that are going to produce a certain amount of spike protein. With the B and T cell activation, those are going to be wiped out. What remains is your body now has a database to deal with an infection. The response time is now elevated, whereby preventing the onset or the development of the disease COVID-19, which is associated with being infected by the SARS-CoV-2 virus. It is not that hard. It is not that difficult. What these guys do is their misinformation, and they twist and turn things in a way to create exactly what you're saying, panic and confusion. And Tahaka played right into that by asking you that stupid ass question, if vaccines can cure a COVID-19.
I don't know. I thought Unc was gonna play it. You on mute, Unc? The dude had no command for understanding what's going on. Listen, it's over with when you bring out the science. So if the virus, right? If the disease, not the virus, if the disease, right? If the disease creates or causes 203 symptoms in the human body, what herb do you have that can prevent that type of ravaging effect on the body from a virus?
None.
From the disease.
None.
You're talking about 10 organs.
None.
So herbs specifically protect organs. Are there herbs that protect organs? This is where we are.
Herbs can't do that. Herbs fundamentally and structurally can't do that. Your body recognizes herbs as food, as a source of energy. It may help in overall ability of your immune system to function optimally, but that's basic nutrition. That's based on eating healthy and having a balanced diet, exercise, etc. But that doesn't prevent you from getting infected with the virus. It doesn't prevent you from becoming diseased with COVID-19 and all the 200 plus effects on the body. There is no herb that is going to deal with brain fog. There is no herb that is going to repair the damage caused by a cytokine storm to your kidneys. There is none. There is simply none. Herbs don't work that way. That conversation starts and ends right there. I don't care what sea moss you take, what color the algae is, if it is bought in Chinatown, if it is fish down here in the Caribbean. I don't give a damn. It's a nutrition-based source. All it does is it's fuel for your body. It is food. There is no food There is no herb. There's nothing that you're going to eat. There's nothing that you're going to drink. There's no marijuana that you're going to smoke that is going to create an immune response to deal with any virus. There is no other way to say it. Ankh made it clear in so many ways last night that this statement is redundant. What's that?
I don't know what he's doing. Hello, I like your science-based approach. Oh, I got an email. Who this, Unc?
Yeah, we doing what we doing. You're on mute, Unc.
You're on mute. Go find the Zoom blue icon.
Find the Zoom. Yeah.
Computer at the bottom.
Go ahead, Sean. Read this. This from the lady for the email. Go ahead and read it. Watch
All right. Okay, this is from the lady from Morris. Okay,
you want to make it bigger? Want to make it bigger?
No. You had a couple of flaws when you were on Morris World. She says, I would like your science-based. She says, I like your science-based approach. This other dude is saying the clinical trials aren't finished. I think he's right. But when it comes to herbal treatments, he doesn't need any of the testing, just old wives' tales and people hyping various herbs to sell them, sometimes based on weak scientific analysis. She's incorrect, whoever this lady is, but I'll get into that.
Yeah, just read it. Go ahead.
They love to talk about pharmaceutical industry, and it's all about profit, but they turn a blind eye to multi-dollar profits of herbal supplementary. And these doctors buying herbs from China to market it up 500%. Anyway, your flaw was being the same way Inky was about Kumoka avoiding the question. But it was your man who tried to deflect even more before you. The question was, can the vaccine cure COVID? And that was addressed to your man first. He was kind of cocky and loud, and he kept avoiding the question. And you did until the Harker asked you over and over again. This is what you should have. This is what you should have happened, in my opinion. A quick answer, no. Instead, there was a back and forth about it 10 times. Longer answer, but starts with a no first. No, then after saying no, let Taharka say whatever he's going to say. Then as soon as you have a chance to speak again, something like, no, vaccines do not cure an infection, the smallpox or COVID. They prevent many, but not all infections. This wasn't about infection. You see what I'm saying? All right. So just give him his plain no first and then do his spin. When he finishes, you elaborate. But can you say the vaccines are 96% effective at preventing infection by Delta? No, again. Respectfully, you are behind the times. Delta is by far the dominant strand in America. Now, in many places, I don't know why I'm reading this, the vaccines are significantly less effective in that, although they do also significantly reduce severity. You did not say anything about the differences in the vaccine effectiveness between the older types of COVID and Delta. And then she tried to give you this. So this is what she doesn't know, right? And I don't know if she. Yeah, I don't need. Yeah, I don't need to read that. So
no, this is the study that says what is 74 during the pre-Delta period.
I'm going to tell you what the evidence is.
I know, man. I'm just trying to come on. I'm just trying to get an audience something. You ain't talking to me.
No, I know, but the audience is listening. So her email is dumb first,
right?
Lord Sean. Lord Sean. She trying.
Yeah. First, her email is dumb because I didn't avoid the question, and saying no does nothing. So strategically, this doesn't go anywhere. So I don't know why you got me reading this. She sent this to you, and then and I definitely was.
You was on there, remember?
I know that, but I definitely was not cocky. Now she is wrong because she just told you that you're behind in the data. The Delta variant at Moderna is 88% effective at preventing infectious disease, and still in the 90s at hospitalization and deaths. Pfizer is 64% effective against the spread of infectious disease, but still in the 90s when it comes to hospitalizations and deaths.
Facts.
Johnson & Johnson is 54% against the spread of infectious disease, but is around like 80-something% hospitalizations and deaths. That the data in the hospitalizations and deaths hadn't changed.
Facts.
What has changed is its efficacy at preventing the spread of infectious disease. Its effectiveness against the infection.
Yes, and that's why the data is starting to change. We're now looking at the virus becoming endemic. Why? Because we're seeing reinfections, and the reinfections are very mild in severity. This is indicating that the virus is going to be amongst us. We will most likely get reinfected, and the severity is going to be no more than the common cold. It is called becoming endemic. So we're moving from pandemic to endemic. So the vaccines are working. The fact of the matter is that unvaccinated people, right, who have acquired natural immunity are now going to be counted amongst the vaccinated people. So now we're going to see an increased number in the amount of people that have acquired an immune response, right? In 2 years' time, this is going to be nothing but a common cold. Make a retesting once you have been vaccinated and being reinfected is going to be eliminated soon. Why? It's giving a false perception. What we're going to focus on is the cases of hospitalization. And what we see is that up to 99% of hospitalizations and deaths are of and amongst unvaccinated people. These are the facts. So like,
doesn't what her emailing you was kind of like sideways because she don't have all the data, and then what she thinks she has is not resourceful. She sent you the CDC report, but she don't even have the right data because the CDC they got a whole better article than what she actually provided that provides the efficacy. She wanted you listen. When I read that email, she wanted you to say certain things. So she's trying to dictate the terms of agreement. And she feel like you and me specifically first, that I should have said this or I should have said that. No, I said the answer. The answer is the vaccines prevent the spread of infectious disease, hospitalization, and death. That's what they do. They prevent. So therefore, I ain't got to say no more than what I said because that was the correct answer. Now, I could have went into efficacy, but I didn't need to. And I wasn't avoiding a yes or no question. You can't ask someone, hey, what you say, what would y'all always say, don't acquiesce to a faulty premise?
Sean, you're going to answer this question, yes or no. Did you stop beating your wife?
Acquiesce to a faulty premise.
Sean, did you stop beating your wife, yes or no?
Right. Yeah.
Sean, did you stop beating your wife? Answer the question, Sean.
Right.
I just want a yes or no answer. Did you stop beating your wife? You can't answer that question with a yes or no. It's a faulty premise. That's assuming that I used to beat my wife. So anyway, I answer that question, I'm admitting to something that is wrong. So no, I'm not going to answer does vaccines cure? No, that's a faulty question. Vaccine prevent the spread of infectious disease, prevents hospitalization, and prevents death. That's what a vaccine does. So now, if you're asking me about a cure, then you simply don't understand this subject matter. Next, let's talk about Inky.
Yeah, she said that you're doing the same thing the dude was doing, but I don't behave in the manner that people want me to behave in. So I don't give a fuck about her email. She talking to you. You can respond.
And I'm cocky and I'm arrogant. Science is undefeated. So yeah, I step into the ring. I step into the ring with my head up, knowing that I'm gonna beat your ass regardless. So
I admit it. I'm cocky. I admit it. We got the best weaponry in the community. Ain't my fault. Don't hate me, hate the game. So I take that as a compliment. You know what I'm saying? Science is undefeated. I ain't got to listen to that nonsense. So I take that, but I appreciate her actually sending an email, giving her a critique, and I think we will have a fan for life. That's what I'm thinking.
Facts.
Right? Maybe we could bring on a panel and stay right there. Stay right there on those points. Stay right there and show her, right, clearly how she's wrong based off of this, and this, and how she's really behind. Because I'm
behind the Delta being. We all know that the Delta is the dominant strand, but that has not changed hospitalizations and death. When you have a death rate of 99.98% of the people that are dying are in the unvaccinated population, as well as hospitalization, that doesn't change the outcome. This is why we don't need booster vaccines. So to say that we're behind, no, we study every day. That doesn't make any sense. She mentioned something else in the actual article where she was just trying to get to, I wanted y'all to get to efficacy. This is what I'm saying. You're on Taharka's platform. You're not going to get the questions that you want answered on Taharka's platform. Because I'm telling you, as soon as I say no, he's going to say, why take the vaccine then? And not let me explain. Well, first, and then I'm going to be saying, well, hold on, let me explain. I'm like, no, why get the vaccine then? He's going to bum rush the question between that. And then if I don't answer that question behind the no, then I'm going to get put in the back. Yep. So I know that. And that's why Sutek was like, he trying to play with you, Sean. And I was like, I know he trying to play because he was trying to play earlier. He was trying to play with the whole Nancy Pelosi thing too. When he brought Nancy Pelosi out and then don't even give context to what Nancy Pelosi said. And then his source, he didn't even read it all the way because he just pulled it up. Talking about he been paying attention to the mandates and all of that. Well, if you paid attention to the mandates, then you knew that the government, the body of Congress, the Senate and the House listens to one person, the doctor, the physician, the head physician for Congress. He sets the standard. He tells them if they need to wear masks. He tells them if they need to be vaccinated. And then they go by what he instructs. So if he says, yes, we need everybody vaccinated. As soon as Moderna gets full authorization, we need everybody vaccinated. Then they're going to mandate it for Congress, and they can do that. So him coming up and saying, no, they trying to mandate it, Congress ain't going, this, that, and the third, that was not the case. He took that out of context. And I don't know what he said behind that. But if the sister's in the chat and she's talking, if she's in the chat, right? Or if she watches this, what I would do was I would respond and I would send her this show. I would send her the link to the show. Say, hey, you need to tune into this particular show. Or you can send her whatever information you want to send her because she thinks that's the behavior on that platform. No, we don't do that. Well, I don't get it. I don't do what Taharka want me to do. I'm going to do what Sean said do because the science says Taharka can say whatever he wants.
Yeah, I ain't letting him manipulate the conversation with me in it. I'm the scientist over here. And we're going to take that position. No, I'm not going to answer that question. It's a faulty premise. Vaccines prevent X, Y, Z. Your question is completely flawed and irrelevant and redundant. I don't need to answer that. And with a yes or no format, as if we the pseudo killers. Who you? Excuse me. Yes or no? That's where my arrogance comes in. I'm sorry.
Well, the efficacy rate in chickenpox, polio, MMR, and a lot of the eradicated vaccines wasn't as high. They just seen viruses. They wasn't as high. The efficacy in those vaccines wasn't as high as people think that they were.
Right.
They began to be higher later because you had more people. So the vaccines became more prominent because you vaccinated against all these pathogens. So that's why when you see the flu vaccine having a 30-something% efficacy rate, is because you had less people being vaccinated, more people being exposed to the flu, so that it doesn't look infectious because you don't have a certain percentage of the population vaccinated against the flu. And then you have 2 years later, you have a lot more people vaccinated against the flu. You see a higher efficacy rate when it was in the 50s. All they need is for the flu to be 50% infectious. All they needed for COVID-19 vaccine, well, the mRNA vaccines was 60% infectious. They were looking for more than 50. They got vaccine efficacies that was 94, 95% against those variants. And then they got the difference in the Delta variant. And notice, every time a new variant came out, they tested the variant against they tested the vaccine against the variants.
And again, I keep saying we got spoiled. Why? Because these vaccines for respiratory viruses were never designed to prevent infection. They was designed to prevent illness and death. What we got lucky because these vaccines actually demonstrated that they were effective at preventing infection, thereby preventing transmission. What the Delta variant did was put our feet back on the ground. That's all it did. So the vaccines remain very, very, very effective at their job, which is preventing serious illness, hospitalization, and death. The numbers indicate that.
Numbers don't lie. I think we've been on longer goddamn enough. I think we proved our point.
We did.
We're going to be back on tomorrow, man. I want to finish reading some of these clinical trials, man. So y'all can get the scope of why we talk about clinical trials. That's why in that conversation last night, I was trying to give them the clinical trials and let you know that there is no way to tell how what you think works. You can come up with anecdotal stuff because he was coming up with anecdotal stuff. Well, I gave these people this, that, and the other. And so that's anecdotal, could be true, but doesn't have to be true. That's why we need the clinical trials, right? That will give us our data so that we'll actually know. Simple as that, man. Look, man, pseudo killers on deck, man. Let me see something right here. Let me see if I can let me see here. Let me see. I can't find that source. We'll be back on tomorrow, man. I appreciate y'all, man. Appreciate you coming through, Nahisi, Malcolm, Cedric, Sean, man. Yo, you going live tonight, Sean? What you doing?
I'll probably hit the button for a few.
All right, man. Make sure y'all go over there to the Science with Sean, man. He gonna be streaming on 2 channels. You know how he do, right? Appreciate everybody, man. Y'all know what it is, man. Look, pseudo